It's the absolute wrongest vibe
really
for a countdown, in my opinion.
Is
like
it the music?
Yeah, the music and like the countdown indicated that what you were about to watch was like a DJ show, not four morons talking to each other while a baseball game that is not being broadcast on the YouTube channel plays off screen.
Have you ever
occasionally remark on it?
When's the last time you went to a DJ show, as you referred to it?
It's a good question, and the answer is when I was in Miami writing a piece about your radio show.
Really?
With Mike Ryan. Yeah.
Was he the DJ?
No, he wasn't. I don't know what a DJ is. I don't know what a DJ show is properly called. But we went to a theater, and a man was on the stage, and he was playing ambient house music that, to my ear, was sort of like the kind of music that would play while you were in like a waiting room in a cool hotel. And Mike was really into it, and I was less than into it, and left and went home to the Clevelander and went to sleep, or tried to, and then failed to.
Did you I'm looking for advice from you on this. How do you, when you want to leave a place that you don't want to go? I mean, if it's just you and Mike, it's even more awkward, right? How do you just leave? Do you say a proper goodbye, or
I'm not a practitioner of the Irish goodbye, as it's called, where you just like slip out the back door.
I've been known to do that.
I tend to want to say like goodbye, nice to see you, shake hands or bump fists, and put a like a punctuation mark at the end of the sentence of the evening. I don't like there's plenty of people I know who Irish goodbye it, and it's fine, but I don't. I feel bad about doing it, so I have to say a proper goodbye to people. So I think I said a proper goodbye to Mike and then left. What are we doing here today, gents? We're going to watch Game 5 of the ALCS.
We're going to watch Game 5, and we were talking about this beforehand. We were talking about a number of things, eyes and contacts, and we realized in the past 2 times that we've done this, we have done these watch-alongs, and we've done very little watching of the actual game. And this game obviously is important. It's the ALCS. The winner of this series goes to the World Series. I have a question for you, because I was talking to Chris about this when we were trying to plan this out a little bit. We have a kind of a theory that maybe you don't really want to be doing this when the Red Sox are in these important games. Like, this may be something that you're being asked and you're saying yes to, but like, given the option, you probably would like to be enjoying this either on your own or like with your actual friends.
Look, it's 2 p.m. where I live, and so it's not like this is taking me away from something. My kids are at school, and my wife is working, and I'm just in my office working, and this game would be on regardless. So I may not be around the entire time for this one because I do have other things to attend to, but I also am so nervous when I watch Red Sox games that this actually helps in some way. It distracts me a little bit. Like, I cannot just sit down on my couch and watch a baseball game, especially a Red Sox game, from beginning to end. I have to be doing something else and have it. There needs to be like an emotional buffer between me and the game. So this actually does help in some weird way, because it distracts me from your distraction.
There's distraction for me. No chance in hell, in my opinion, that if the Red Sox should make it to the World Series, that we will be doing another one of these.
I think the World Series might be rough. I mean, look, if they play the Dodgers, if they were to make it and the Dodgers were to beat the Braves, I would be going to the games in LA. So that would make it impossible. And then I think it would probably be too fraught for me to actually watch a World Series game with you fine folks. But who knows? Look, there's a first time for everything, There's a chance that I would feel up to it. Like, if the Dodgers were up, let's say they made the World Series and either the Dodgers or Braves were up 3-0, I might watch Game 4 with you, because at that point I would have conceded that they were going to lose anyway and it wouldn't matter,
Now, you said after the Yankees win that it was all good after that. You weren't stressed in any of this. Now, I refuse to believe that last night you weren't saying bad things about Laz Diaz.
Well, no, there's a difference between understanding that you're playing with house money and then like being upset minute to minute in the actual game. Like, the hell is that?
That's the audio.
That's hey, now everyone gets a test. Like, Roy made me mute just in case.
I was upset about that call. I'm upset about umpire calls in baseball that have nothing, that like regardless of what the game is.
Unreasonably so. I think some would say.
I would say I tweet 8 to 12 times a day with just a screenshot of where a pitch missed that was called either a strike or a ball if it was in the zone. Like probably
you're trying to create change, and you're going to be right on this because in the next, we talked about this last time. It's going to change. We're be close to it.
Well, it's not fair. Like the umpires have to crouch behind a dude, and they have to judge whether a ball went through a 3-dimensional box that they can't possibly accurately judge. It's a minor miracle that the average ump gets 93% of their calls correct. And it's I think it's 92 to 94 is the average. But the point is that it's like when we like it's absurd. We're living in an absurd time when they're doing it without the aid of robots and lasers. And everyone watching has the aid of robots and lasers. And it's like, well, why is that poor guy not have the same tool that I have, just a schmo in my house watching the game? It's absurd. Like, what's the point of this? It's just such a bizarre thing. And then last night, Las Diaz calls a pitch in the 9th inning, ball 3 instead of strike 3, that would have ended the inning, and the Red Sox would have been coming to the plate, tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 9th. There's a coin flip chance they win that game. He calls it a ball. They score 7 runs, and the game's long over. And it's like, was that the reason they lost that game? No, of course it wasn't. But it's a reason, and there's no reason for that reason. Like, that's what really annoys me is there's no reason for us to be doing it this way.
It's the dumbest thing in all of sports. Like, you can't think of anything in sports that's
the 10-yard, the first where the ball is placed in relation to the first down marker is close. Because that's an even less exact science than umpiring. Like that's literally like the guy's on the sideline. He runs all the way out, somehow magically keeping an exact pinpoint location and to where the ball, and then places it down and then just signals one. And then when they measure it, I mean, you guys have talked about this a million times, like how many chain links it is. I mean, yeah, exactly. And also, by the way, like if you put that ball down and the 10-yard marker, if it's even like 1 degree less than perpendicular to the end zone, that's gonna sway it's just so silly.
But a lot of times they'll put the ball down near the sideline and then they'll throw a ball to the ref in the middle of the field, and then he's just like, this is where it goes, right? Yep, okay, we're good.
And then we do the exact measurement to make sure that we have it correct. But the thing is that umpiring balls and strikes, that's every play in baseball. Like imagine if that 10-yard decision were every single play in a football game. Like that's how much it affects these games. It's absurd.
Yeah.
So anyway,
93% is really accurate though. I mean, it's not 100%.
But that's the problem is the lasers are 100%, right? Like it just, and they're experimenting with it. There's I think in the Arizona Fall League, they have a pitch clock now, which is really sped up games. Like there's semi-pro leagues and low A leagues that are experimenting with just the ump has a headpiece, has like an earpiece, and they call balls and strikes, and they get beeped, and then they call a ball or strike. And like, if you properly regulate and adjudicate the strike zone, it's going to make the game better, and no one will be able to complain like I do all the time.
If they do implement the earpieces right, where they have, I guess, lasers or whatever dictating whether things are balls or strikes, and they're just talking down to the umpire, you would essentially just be casting umpires, right? Like you could just get someone that fits the bill of an umpire. Yeah, I think I would still cast like a Joe West as the umpire. Like you need
Joe West as an actor that you hired to play an umpire would be so much more fun than Joe West as an actual umpire with authority. You could also get like guest umpires. You could say like, hey,
wow,
whoever, Brad Pitt, you want to be an umpire for today's game? Like all you have to do is stand here. If this beeps, raise your hand. If it doesn't, do nothing.
I'm a big fan of the Masked Singer. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. So the idea of celebrity home plate umpires for an inning where you just see what's going on, and then there's a big reveal when they remove the mask would be incredible.
All right, we're going to talk about the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're not allowed to call like balls and strikes. Chris Sale's been terrible this postseason. He has an ERA
in his career. He's been bad in the postseason. What do we think here? Is this something like a small sample, or is somebody as good as Chris Sale capable of just not having it in the playoffs?
Well, this year he had Tommy John surgery. He started pitching like 2 months ago. Yeah. So I think this is a tough matchup for him, though.
Oh
no, that's all right.
Well, off the end of the bat. Yep.
That was Altuve warning track power.
Yeah,
that sound wasn't helpful.
This lineup in particular is a very rough matchup for him because they have really good hitters from both sides of the plate, and they have he's had problems with them in the past, and right now he's just not himself and hasn't been since he came back. So I don't think anybody in Boston expects this to be more than like an ideal, like a standing ovation start from Chris Sale is like 4 innings, 2 runs. That would be like the Fenway would like leap to its feet and applaud for him if he can go 4 innings and give up 2 runs.
You seem very negative about your team.
I'm not. Look, this is house money. Like it's absurd that they made it here. Like
honey,
it was a coin flip. Honey, yeah, it's honey. It's all honey, baby.
Wow.
It was a coin flip against the Yankees. The Rays were better than them in every phase of the game. They had no business beating them. They all got hot at the same time. They had 2 huge offensive games in this series. They got them to a brief, glorious moment of actual home field advantage. The Astros tied it up. Now it's best out of 3. It's like, well, what did he do? It's a coin flip. This whole thing. Did you guys see Fangraphs did a win expectancy for the series before the series started? And it was so close they had to carry it to 4 decimal points. It was like Red Sox 49.9996% likely to win, Astros 50.0004%.
I hate those percentages of like
it's
win
great.
probability.
What do you mean you hate them? Why?
It's just like, oh, like I do it when I'm like doing my picks for the week in NFL games. It's like, oh, there's a 33% chance this team wins. Why would I choose them? It's like,
I mean, because you should not. Betting on football is absurd.
Well, I just do pick 'em things. Like, well, I do.
There's a giant football pool that a friend of mine is in, and every year there's a guy who goes by the name Coin, and he literally picks every game. You have to pick every game against the spread
based on a coin toss,
and he literally does it as a coin toss, and he has never won. There's 150 people in the pool. I think he finished like 12th one year, or he finished like in the top 15 or something one year. Hey, Chris Sale, way to go, buddy. Got Brantley swinging.
All I know is now I'm just imagining a football pool of, have you guys seen Frozen 2? Like those giants. You said like a giant football pool, and I just imagine like what a football.
You mean
pool
actual
like,
giants?
Giants,
yeah.
Like, and them just like, oh, I had the Cowboys and they lost. Sorry, it's only the first inning. We're already here.
I like.
Does either of you have any rooting interest in this series? I'm curious.
I want the Astros to lose. So
yes, that's right. You hate the Astros.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not so much rooting for the Red Sox as much as I'm rooting against the Astros.
That's fine. Listen, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Come on board.
It's the opposite. So I listened to the latest episode of Podcast, which, by the way, is now part of Meadowlark Media. Welcome to the family, I guess. I don't know.
Thank you.
And it seems like the opposite of what it is that you do. Like you seem to like to root for good things for people, and for people you like good things to happen to them. And teams that are not doing well, you like to root for bad teams. I like to root against teams, and I don't know why that is. And I feel like now that I'm talking it out with you, maybe I'm a bad person.
No,
and this could turn into like an intervention of sorts.
Listen, nobody roots against any team as much as I root against the Yankees. Right? Get them out, Sam.
Here we go.
Nice.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
That's one. That's 1 inning. 1 inning in the books.
Yes.
So 3 more, and you're happy.
3 more, and I'm happy. Nobody roots for anything more than against any team more.
He's getting checked. He's getting checked.
They always get checked.
I root against the Yankees above even rooting for the Red Sox at this point in my life. So I get it, man. Like you're not a bad person. I do think it's fun to root for teams that are like that you otherwise have no interest in if they're perennial losers or they have the franchise has fallen on hard times. I think that's a fun way to experience sports. Like root for the Lions. Like root really hard for the Lions or the Browns or something.
I want the Lions to do well, just because I want Dan Campbell to stick around as long as possible.
He's amazing.
I love him. Chris Sale is unusually skinny for his position.
He is. Do you guys remember a pitcher who pitched for the Red Sox and I think the Brewers, maybe named Casey Fossum? Does that name ring a bell?
Oh, yes.
Casey Fossum had the coolest nickname, I think, which was the Blade, because he was like 5'11" or 6 feet tall and weighed like 140 pounds. He was the skinniest professional athlete I've ever seen in my life. And I always thought the Blade was a really cool nickname for a skinny dude.
Tim Lincecum was skinny, I feel like. I'm trying to think of skinny athletes.
But he was short.
Yeah, but he was short.
The Blade is better when your name's Fossum, because very easily you could just be called Possum. So much better option. So, Mike, as part of your podcast coming on, charity is involved, from what I hear from. Oh, can't hear Mike Schur. Oh, this is good. I can't hear him, and I don't think he can hear us.
Mike, can you hear us? Can you hear me now? Roy, does your mic work now? Wow, we can't hear Roy either.
Roy's muted too.
This is
going well.
It's a commercial right now. So, we're just taking a little downtime. Everyone, make sure your drinks are filled. We got a long one.
Have you had breakfast at Taco Bell?
No. And why would they have breakfast? I'm not a big fan of that. Have you? What is it, like a breakfast taco?
It looks like a breakfast burrito. I've never had breakfast at Taco Bell.
Now, I shouldn't rip that because I do get a breakfast burrito from McDonald's. So I shouldn't rule out that, I like a breakfast burrito from McDonald's. But
Wendy's has breakfast too now.
Everyone has tweeted me the last few days that I look like Christian Arroyo from the Red Sox. He's batting 8th for them tonight.
I was actually texted that the last time we did this game when it was Red Sox Yankees by Allison. She said that her now husband said that you look like him.
Oh,
so
congratulations! That was so cool that Allison is married now.
Yeah, I don't think
get Allison to come on.
I don't think that that's going to happen. I also don't think she's watching this. So, the congratulations is probably falling.
What just happened there? Everybody, I couldn't hear anybody. We had technical problems. Could you guys hear me?
No.
There was no.
Saw your mouth moving.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're back, guys.
You're back. Here we go.
Just in time for the bottom of the first.
Oh, Kike's leading off. That's interesting. I guess it's because it's against a lefty.
And he's just on fire, right?
Yeah.
500's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's not bad. There's a great piece about him in The Athletic. A couple days ago, just about what a crazy dude he is. It's a very enjoyable read if you're interested in reading long form journalism about the Red Sox.
Can you give us a Sparks Note version of it?
He just is he's a very funny dude who he's very loose, and he wore a banana suit in the dugout a lot. And when he was playing with the Dodgers never really played him every day. They only hit him against lefties mostly. And he just really wanted there's a lot of funny stories when he was a kid in Puerto Rico, of playing with his dad. His dad and Alex Cora, I think, are friends. I believe that's correct. They were buddies, and so Alex Cora's known him since he was 8 years old or something. And he was just always a rambunctious, crazy kid who just wanted the chance to play every day. And he's just having a moment. It's just an enjoyable thing to watch a dude who's because I loved watching him play for the Dodgers. He just didn't play every day. He was a utility guy. And he came to the Red Sox in part because they promised him he could play every day. So it's nice he made the right choice. It's paid off for him, paid off for the team. I'm not doing a very good job of summarizing this enjoyable article.
No, it's fine. I mean, I'm annoyed with him. He was a Marlin.
Why?
Now, because he was a former Marlin, and he was not the best when he was on the Marlins, and now he's on another team and he's doing well. And this is one of my things. I hold weird grudges against players that were on my team, the Marlins, and then go on and are more successful on other teams. It
happens a lot. I feel like every team probably says this about their players, but it seems like it happens a lot with Marlins.
One time
they get more players, right?
Yeah.
They unload their entire team maximum every 5 years.
One person it didn't happen with that I thought was hilarious that left for a ton of money was Carl Pavano, who was just not
with the
great
Yankees. Signed with the Yankees.
Yeah, not great. With
that was 4 years. I want to say it was 452 or something, which is the time was a really big deal.
Yeah.
It was $14 million a year, 456 maybe. And he not only did he not pitch well, but he kind of got hurt a little bit and then was out for 4 months. And people were is he really hurt? Does he just not want to play anymore? And he was just collecting his salary and not playing for them.
It
was
felt
great.
like he played 6 total games as a Yankee.
Yeah,
in 4 years.
He came back. He missed most of the year, came back, pitched 4 times, and then was injured again. And it became clear he was just I don't really want to play baseball anymore, but you have to keep paying me.
Well, I think he went on to the Twins and was okay after.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, then he went. Yeah, I think you're right. It was Minnesota, and then pitched pretty well. It was great. It's the only time that anyone's ever torched the Yankees like that I know of.
What did you think of the Red Sox using Eovaldi last night?
I mean, that's what Cora does in the playoffs. Everybody,
he's their ace, right? He essentially used their best pitcher. You're up 2-1 in a series. Just I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, all starting pitchers have a rhythm where like you don't throw the day after you pitch, and I think you don't throw the day after that, and then like the third on day 3 you throw
day.
like you do have a bullpen day, and so Cora he did this in 2018 too. Like he basically treats players' bullpen days like their game ready days and like brings them in. And the fact is that the Red Sox bullpen's terrible. Like they just don't they don't have a closer. Like Matt Barnes was in the All-Star game this year and he can't pitch in the postseason because he's so bad. So like they're sort of like all hands on deck all the time in the playoffs. So I don't think it's wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I mean, especially given how thin their bullpen is. And by the way, it should have worked, right? Like if that pitch had been called strike 3, it would have worked and everyone would be saying what a genius he is.
What do we think of the armbands with Dusty?
I was just going to ask you if Dusty Baker's face is on his wristbands. And if he's
that what it is?
I think it is. There's a person on them.
Right.
I think it might be Dusty Baker. And I think he's had that his entire career, just with the colors of whatever team he's on.
Great.
I'm looking this up.
It's just for show, right? It's just for show.
Well, I don't think Dusty's sweating very much.
I mean, he might be. That's my point. It's like, we might be being mean to him.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Through 1.
We said we were going to talk about the game, and then we haven't really talked about the game.
We've talked some. No?
We talked about Uvalde and last night. We're talking about the series.
I got excited for warning track power. Wow. So I'm looking at some of Dusty Baker's wristbands because I just Googled Dusty Baker's wristbands.
I did
and
too.
It looks like he has other people on. Like he has one that says "Say No to Drugs" that is Barry Bonds.
I'm sure if you're Dusty Baker at this point, people are sending you wristbands.
He has a Reggie Jackson one.
The coolest thing about Dusty Baker is that, well, there are many cool things about him, but one of the coolest things is that he was on deck when Hank Aaron hit the record-breaking home run. When Hank Aaron took over, he was on deck. It's cool trivia.
That is cool.
I like
that
the
might
video.
Be the coolest thing about Dusty Baker, actually. Either that or the toothpicks.
One or the other.
One or the other. Those are the top 2, definitely. You just don't know which order they're in.
And he runs arms into the ground. Those are the 3 things.
Wasn't Craig Sager running around covering the game like as Hank Aaron is like crossing the plate?
That sounds right. Yeah. In like a crazy 70s suit, right?
Yeah.
Like
but at the time looks tame because
the wildest thing about that is those 2 rando hippie dudes who like run onto the field and run up to him, and he just says like totally chill about it. Like he had gotten death threats. Like there were people who were like the police had been notified. I believe the Federal Bureau of Investigation had been notified about death threats if he were to break Babe Ruth's record. He hits the home run. 2 random guys run onto the field and he doesn't flinch. It's incredible. Like it's wild that he had that self-possession.
A lot going on in his head at the time. One of which, and probably at the back of his mind, was, you know what? This is a historic moment that's going to live on video forever. Maybe let me not fight people that are running up to me.
Yeah, good call. But like, how that supersedes the like threat to your own life that you are aware of is wild to me. Like I don't know how you have that amount of calm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to break the record, so I don't have to.
And listen, don't sell yourself short, man.
But you could be one of those 2 fans that's part of a video of someone breaking a record. So like, what's the next big record that needs to be broken? And maybe me and you can go be those guys.
I'm not even capable of breaking like some obscure Guinness record,
No, the point is someone else breaks a record and you guys run onto the field and escort the record breaker.
Yeah. Come on, let's do that, Billy. But I don't see you, Billy, as a guy that ever like stormed the field.
No, and I wanted
to. Like if FIU ever won a big game, everyone would be storming the field, and you would just be like, "Guys, be careful! That security guard says you can't do this."
Okay, get this. So I wanted to because before the Orange Bowl was closed down, the Orange Bowl obviously down here in Miami. Historically, the stadium that the Miami Dolphins played in, the University of Miami played in for years, right? FIU is redoing their football stadium. So the last season of the Orange Bowl, they actually played at the Orange Bowl in front of like 800 people. It was like a massive empty stadium. So they actually played the last college game in there because it was like the weekend after the University of Miami played the game, and they got blown out by Virginia like 40.
This might be trouble.
That's bad.
This is trouble.
Yeah, 1-0.
God, man, the way people go opposite field nowadays is just crazy.
Well, that's also Yordan Alvarez. He does that to everyone.
But that's fine. That's only 1. And you gave Chris Sale 4 innings and 2 earned runs. So we're still good.
That guy is so good, man.
It's wild.
Alvarez is such a good hitter. That didn't look like a terrible pitch right away.
No.
Let me see.
It looks like it was on the outside corner.
Yeah, look at that. That ball's outside.
Good pitch, man.
It's up, but it's belt high, but
that guy's just
outside.
so strong.
It's just
like
so
just
strong.
get the barrel on it, and it's gone. So strong.
How far do you think you could hit a baseball, Mike?
Right now, I have no idea. When I was young, I think we've talked about this last time, but I was actually a good baseball player when I was a teenager, and I was a good hitter. I wasn't super strong. I've never been physically very strong, but I was a very good hitter. I was a contact hitter. I was also a dead pull hitter. Like I could only hit the ball to left. Like I would just the infield shift against me would be all four guys, including the first baseman between second and third.
You were no Tony Gwynn.
You were Tony Gwynn?
No, I mean I could go the other way.
I was the opposite. I could only go the other way if I could even make contact because I couldn't get around fast enough to pull it. Yeah,
that's my son is like that. My son plays baseball and he's undersized for his age, and he's a up the middle, hit it the other way guy, and it sucks because he hits the ball hard and ends up grounding out right to the second baseman, and then it's like he always like the kids who hit it to the left side get to first because it's a longer throw and kids make errors and stuff. If you hit the ball to the second baseman or the first baseman, you're dead.
Yeah, is he like love baseball?
He does, yeah.
So you haven't had like the talk with him yet, like, hey, buddy, maybe this isn't going to be like the career path.
I don't think he thinks he's going pro.
Okay, that's good. Then less heartbreak.
Yeah. He also plays flag football and nice pitch, Chris Sale. Froze Correa. That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, enough of that.
What did you think of Eduardo Rodriguez doing this and then Cora yelling at him for it?
Well, so Cora, I think, is the last person that wants people to be pointing at watches with his history, right? I think that's part of it. Is that Cora's like, let's not, people forgot about the Apple Watch situation. Let's not bring watches back into this.
That's so funny. That's true. He's like, nothing with watches. Can we just any other place on your body you can point?
I love so much the cascading cheating scandals among all of these teams. The way like the Astros are the worst, right? Because the banging on garbage cans is such a lame way to cheat. It's just so like embarrassing that it's so low tech, But then it was like everybody was saying, oh, the Red Sox are using Apple Watches and cameras, and the Yankees are the ones who complained, I think. And then everyone immediately was like, wait, the Yankees are doing that too. It was like, I just wanted to go like, guys, just stop this. Like, you're all doing it. So just everybody shut up. Like, you're all going to get each other in trouble.
I can't get over the fact that we still haven't seen that letter to the Yankees that Manfred sent that was sealed. And then it was supposed to come out and there was like lawsuits and we still don't know. Well, it's going to be like a big nothing burger, but I still want to see it.
Well, it's the equivalent of the tapes that Goodell smashed when the Pats were caught cheating, right? It's like all those tapes that they like ground up and like threw away, and everyone was like, what's in those tapes? It's like, you know what's in those tapes. They were recording the signs of the other team and they had tapes of them. Like, it's not like, what do you think it is? Like, it's what did Bill Belichick like murder people for sport and film it? Like, it's just, that's what it was. It was just like they were cheating in that way. So whatever that letter is, I'm sure it just said like, hey guys, we know you're cheating too, so cool it.
Thank God the NFL wrapped up that whole email scandal, huh? 650,000, only one wrongdoer.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, they were like, Gruden's the only one. Case closed.
Wait a second. They ended the investigation? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they were pretty much like, yeah, you know what? He's the only one that had bad stuff like that in there, so don't worry about it.
But wait, the larger investigation.
Don't worry about that one.
Into the Washington football team.
Yeah,
like
don't worry
that's
about
still
that.
going on.
No,
isn't
Gruden went down. Don't worry about the other investigation. Case closed.
How's it going, Dano?
There is no paper trail and nothing that's going to come out of that Washington story. I remember years ago, 60 Minutes did a story on Prokhorov, the Nets owner, the Russian oligarch, and they're like, you wouldn't believe how quaint he is. He doesn't have a computer, and it's because he wanted no paper trail between whatever the hell he was doing and anybody being able to see
good
it.
Catch, Chris.
Look at that. No, I'm the second baseman. I'm Carlos. I'm Arroyo. I almost said Carlos.
But wait, hold on a second. I didn't look at
you,
sports
Chris.
news today. Are you telling me that they closed the Washington football team investigation, or they'd
No.
close the Gruden investigation?
No, they said they closed the 650,000 email investigation, and I don't think we're going to know anything about the Washington email situation other than what we already know, because Goodell works for Snyder, and because
Right.
I have read all the reports that there isn't anything, there's nothing documented on what the NFL is finding on this stuff. Nothing has come out. Now,
No.
I don't know if they're going to come out and do anything, but they've just sort of moved Daniel Snyder over into this purgatory where he's not running the team and the league is kind of running the team, but he's still kind of the owner.
But all the stuff about Snyder leaked. That was all leaked. So like, you're telling me they must have found the person who was leaking it and shut it down, right? Because it's not like there's obviously a lot more stuff we could learn. There's a lot more people who sent bad emails.
That was it. Just the one.
Do you think that Christian Arroyo looks like Chris Cote?
There's like 4 Red Sox that look like Chris Cote.
I can see it. Yes.
Everyone, if you get someone with a little bit of an orange beard, everyone says they look like me. It's like my whole life is everyone meets me and they're like, "Oh, I know someone that looks just like you." People think
but the shape of his face is the shape of your face.
That's actually a
I would
decent
say.
one. The Arroyo I do see just in the beard. Yeah.
Joe Buck last night said he looked like John Lester, and I was like, no, he doesn't at all. And then he talked about it for like an inning. He was like, he really looks like John Lester. I was like, he does not.
How do you feel about Joe Buck?
I like Joe Buck more, I would say, than the average sports fan likes Joe Buck. I think Joe Buck's good. I think he's a good announcer. He's done a couple things in my life that have annoyed me. One of them is the Randy Moss thing. Him moralizing about Randy Moss in Green Bay was lame. And he also I have a personal grudge against him because in game 7 of the 2004 ALCS, when the Red Sox were coming back to finish off the Yankees, he sounded actively disappointed that the Red Sox were winning. I know everybody says that about him. Everybody says every announcer likes the other team. But honestly, if you go back and listen to that game, he sounds like he's a Yankee announcer who's trying to keep it together as he watches his team go down the toilet.
I felt that way with Bob Costas when the Marlins won the 97 World Series and they beat the now Guardians. I was like, this Bob Costas is really pissed this team is running around in teal.
He didn't like that his traditional sport was being desecrated by these upstart Marlins led by Billy Gill and his recent fandom. Costas did not like that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with him. I mean, come on.
What?
That team was put together. That team was a fake team. That was the team that they sold off the next year entirely, right? They sold off the entire team. They just got them all together. They built in order to
well, Wayne needed some cash.
What I remember of that, you say they sold off the fake team. They traded Moises Alou. They infuriated Moises Alou. If you're talking about the 97 team, not the 2003 team. And the scattered remains of the team went to the White House, and it wasn't any of their star players. And Moises Alou said he was busy, and he said he couldn't make it because he was at a Dominican racetrack instead of, and he was just so pissed off. And he said that everyone should boycott the team. This was right after winning the championship. Never has the emotion of a championship disappeared so quickly. They sold all the parts. They ruined baseball right there.
Yeah, that 97 was Renteria up the middle in the 9th or 10th or whatever it was, right?
11th.
Against that Indians team,
they were stacked
of Tommy, Manny Ramirez.
Yeah, they scored 1,000. They scored 1,000 runs 2 years later. Like that was the Will Cordero and Manny Tomei, Omar Vizquel, Kenny Lofton. Right, it was that was that whole team. Right, they like everybody.
Justice, I think.
Who was the third base? Travis Fryman hit like 30 home runs every year, and it was like hit 8th for them. It was ridiculous. Like that team should have won.
People were mad at Joe Buck last night. He always trends, right? I don't get why people hate him, but I think it's that. I think they always think he's rooting against their team.
He loved it.
He's just very staid in his announcing, and so he kind of gets the brunt when something exciting happens. He emote, and so people think that he has dampened enthusiasm for whatever team is winning. Including me, apparently. By the way, who did Heat open against tonight? Do they play tonight?
They don't play tonight.
Tomorrow.
They don't?
Bucks.
Oh,
I got the Bucks tomorrow.
Celtics play the Knicks, and Jaylen Brown is playing with an inhaler on the sideline to compensate for the COVID case, the breakthrough case that he got. This doesn't seem like a good, healthy.
Less relevant than PJ Tucker saying, as a member of the Miami Heat, that he has circled this game on his calendar and he wants to show the championship Bucks something.
All right.
It's important.
All right, man.
How do you feel about A-Rod, Mike?
Ooh.
I mean, I despise him. I loathe everything about him. I heard your discussion of whether your granular discussion of how phony he is and in which specific ways he is phony. And I enjoyed it a great deal, but I think that he is like, I don't think he's a human being. I think he's like the T-2000 with a suit on. Like
he's no Michael Strahan. Like, you'll agree. Morning television.
Well, that's where I disagree with you. I believe he would work very well on morning television because I think that the thing that people like about morning television is that it's like plastic and fake and just smiley and whatever. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Devers just broke his bat into 10,000 pieces and hit a fair ball. How was that even possible?
That ended up in the stands.
a fan celebrating his team making it out.
Are you guys like
a
me?
Shard of a bat?
Are you guys like me where every single time a bat gets shattered, you think of Sammy Sosa and corked bats? You're like, mate, this is it. This is the next person with a corked bat. Every single time. Like I was just thinking right there. I'm like, hey, if I'm a player,
you always think rubber balls are going to go spilling all over the field?
I just think of it. I always think, I wonder if they're checking that bat to see if it's corked. I just like, as soon as I see a bat break, I think of corked.
They don't, the player, like, that is such a, like, players don't need to cheat that way anymore. They have so much better ways of cheating. You know, like it's science has advanced beyond putting rubber balls into the middle of their bats.
It's just, I think of it every time.
The reason I asked you about A-Rod, Mike, is because I'm actually curious whether you despise him more as a player or as an announcer, because we were talking about Joe Buck and his analysis of baseball. Like I know the guys that you like announcing baseball. I can't imagine that his analysis is something that you're enjoying.
His analysis is terrible. Like he sounds, I honestly think when he's trying to explain what's happening in a baseball game, I think if I brought my 11-year-old daughter in and said, like, hey, describe what's happening on TV right now, that she would do a better job. Like, he's wrong all the time. And when he isn't wrong, he's saying something so banal and obvious that it doesn't need to be explained out loud. Like, I think he's a deeply terrible baseball analyst, which is shocking because I liked him as a player, at least until he went to the Yankees. I liked him as a player in that ALCS that the Mariners, that 116 win Mariners team played against the Yankees. He was one of the only Mariners who showed up. He had a home run off the foul pole in left field late in the game that was like one of the longest balls I've ever seen hit at that stadium. Hit the top of the foul pole. And I was like, well, at least one of these jerks showed up to try to beat the Yankees. Like I was in favor of him in general. I wanted him to come to Boston when the Manny Ramirez trade happened. I was psyched that he was coming to Boston. So I liked him as a player. I hate him as like a person.
Who are the really good analysts?
You just hate his essence.
Yeah. I have to say that now that basketball's back, come on, JD, what are you swinging at? I was watching basketball yesterday and thinking, like, there are more good basketball announcers and analysts than baseball by leaps and bounds. Like, everywhere you go in basketball.
Who's the great baseball analyst?
I've said this before. I'll say it again. I know I'm a homer. Dennis Eckersley is a great analyst because he does a couple things that you will all appreciate. Number one, he's actively funny because he's like a weird burnout hippie who like uses all sorts of weird lingo, and it's very enjoyable. But second, he calls people out when they do stupid things, which is like in the weird like lift your pinky off of the teacup mannerisms that baseball, like that weird propriety that baseball has. No one is ever critical of anyone, and Eckersley will ride guys like crazy on the Red Sox or not when they screw up, to the point where David Price, when he was on the team, like refused to fly with him. You probably remember this. There was like this huge dust up where David Price refused to get on a team plane because Eckersley was on the plane, and Eckersley had been riding Price for his pitching. So like it's like he's actually analyzing the game. He's actually saying like this was bad, or he should have
But
done something.
He doesn't do any of the advanced stuff, right? Like he's not teaching you very much about baseball, right?
No, but he's teaching me about pitching. Like he will say he's got a little of the Tony Romo in him, where he'll say like he's missing, like that slider isn't working for him. He doesn't feel it. If he doesn't start throwing fastballs up and in, like he's never going to get through this at bat. And at least to my eye, he's frequently right about what pitchers are about to do, and the way that Romo is right about what quarterbacks are about to do. So I think he's really good. I mean, there's some good local guys. I think Jason Benetti, who does the White Sox games, is a really good baseball announcer. He does stuff for ESPN too.
Yes,
College football, ESPN too.
You did a game with him, right?
I did, yeah. It was really, really fun. So it's not like there's no Jesus Christ. Suddenly the Red Sox can't hit and they can't even swing.
Oh boy.
It's not like there's no good analysts at all, but I just feel like every basketball announcer is great. Every play-by-play guy in basketball is great, and a lot of the analysts are really good too. Maybe that's just because I know less about basketball than about baseball or something. But don't you think like Brian Anderson is really good on TBS? If you guys listen to him as a baseball announcer, I think he's a really, really good baseball announcer. But there seems to be more in basketball. Are you happy that the NBA is back? Is Miami happy? Is everybody excited about Tyler Hero, preseason leading scorer Tyler Hero?
I love that stat the other day that Chris Cote gave us, that Tyler Hansborough, he's not even the best Tyler to lead the preseason in scoring. That Tyler Hansborough,
I think he's the best. I think he's the best Tyler to do it. I
just love. I mean, there's no better way to neuter how meaningless a stat that is than to say that Tyler Hansborough once led the preseason in scoring.
Do they give an award for that? I hope they do. Like they send a plaque.
It's the Tyler Hansborough Honorary Lifetime Achievement of Meaninglessness Award.
Damon Stoudemire has his like prominently displayed in his den. What are the expectations for the Heat? What is everybody thinking? Are we thinking East Coast?
The expectation for me is that Billy is going to enjoy if Mike Ryan's Miami Heat fail. That's what the expectation for me is.
That's probably right.
I feel like the Heat is a team that you do not like, Mike. Like this is one of the few teams that you root against.
I had no opinion of the Heat until Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero showed up.
Really?
I started hating them. Yeah.
Wow.
It's the when post Big Three arrogance that you don't like.
No, Big Three, I'm sure you didn't like when they were beating the Celtics.
I did. I liked them. I like LeBron. I root for LeBron anywhere he goes. I even rooted for the Lakers to win the championship the year they won the championship because I like LeBron. And I also want LeBron to ultimately have 6 titles so that no one can say that Jordan was better, which is a ridiculous thing to say at this point. So I root for LeBron. I like the Big Three. I love Ray Allen. I like Bosch. I like them. I didn't mind the Heat at all. I don't like Jimmy Butler and I don't like Tyler Hero. And I really don't like we've talked about this before, but I really don't like Heat culture. I really that phrase.
No, he liked Patriot Way, and he would like Tyler Hero so much if he played for the Celtics.
No, Dan, no. I don't like the Patriot Way. I think it's equally stupid. And I further think that the same people who criticize the Patriot Way, which by the way, they should somehow we've talked about this before. They're blind to the fact that Heat culture is the same exact thing. It's the absurd concept that there's an organization that is so much better than every other organization that they can turn any player into
the hardest working, most
player.
conditions, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever Ryan Cortez's tattoo says.
I love that you just talked to me the way that I talk to my dog. Dan, no.
Daniel,
Dan, no.
Daniel, no. Stop it.
Dan. Sit down.
I mean,
down, Dan, down.
Bo has evolved as a coach. Bill Belichick's still punting from the 50-yard line on 4th and 3. Okay, that's all.
Okay, you know what? Let's check in with Spo when he's 68 and has been coaching that team for 35 years.
Saying.
Wow,
Just
like
saying.
that. Belichick's very old and has been doing it like 4 times as long. And like, I don't think that, he's obviously not what he was, and I also don't really care. But like Eric Spoelstra is still very young. Like he hasn't had time to get set in his ways. You just wait.
Well, maybe once he turns 68 years old, probably he'll win Coach of the Year by then. Once in his life.
Has he never won Coach of the Year?
No.
Bobby Marks has it happening this year.
Wow.
Oh, okay. I'll see you when I believe it.
Jose Siri has a 100 emoji chain.
Chris is
Bobby Marks has got the Heat in the finals. He's got Jimmy MVP. Big Bobby Marks fan right now.
Right.
In fact, he's coming on in a little bit. I texted him.
Whose
Course.
child is that in the background? I hear a child.
That's Princess
Yeah,
Claire.
that'll be Claire. That's Claire.
It's a staple of Zooms with Roy.
Yes, because I'm a father. That's what tends to happen.
I also believe Claire has said more on the show than you have in these instances. Like, I believe she talks more than you do.
Yeah, well, she got that from my mom. That is not something that passed down through my genes. Yeah.
Who's
This
Claire
dude,
rooting for?
Siri is really good, by the way.
Red Sox, probably.
He scares me. He's a really good player.
Yeah.
The thing that scares you most, is it not that Chris Sale is your pitcher?
Yeah.
I think the thing that scares me most is the fact that the team was so hot for so long through the Rays series and then the first 3 games of the series that they are going to regress.
You're scared because your team was doing too well.
Well, it's just I'm scared because they're going to regress, and it seems like they already have based on last night in the first 2 innings of tonight's game. So like, if they go cold, if the whole team goes cold, like the series is over because the Astros have a better 1 through 9 than they do. But I love that Sale took this pop up. Good for him.
That was like Little League style, just the pitcher like, no, I got it.
It was. I love also Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber's playing first base. He never played first base in his life, basically.
First base is the most disrespected position in all of sports. They just think you could put anybody there. Tom, Dick, or Harry.
Oh.
Did you see the thing in the Rays series where he fielded the grounder and tried to underhand it to the pitcher and like made a terrible throw, and then like 2 batters later it happened again and he made it, and he like jumped up and down and raised his arms in celebration, like pointed to the crowd. Like it was kind of amazing. Made me like him even more.
Have you ever wondered why Tom, Dick, and Harry were the ones who got in there and got to be any Tom, Dick, or Harry? Like
Thomas, Richard, or Harold.
Good for them.
We can't be making a whole lot of Harrys anymore, can we?
Oh, I think we are. Look at Harry Styles. He's like the most famous person in the world.
Boom.
I'm sure there's a ton of British children named Harry right now.
Mm-hmm.
His name's probably Harold, though, right?
Yeah.
No,
I don't think so.
Let's look it up.
I don't think it's Prince Harold.
Yeah, also the Prince. Come on, there's plenty of Harrys. I think we're making way fewer Dicks than we are Harrys.
Well, Dicks
Not
are
a lot of
Richards,
Richards,
right? Dicks are just Richards.
Yeah,
Harry
but
Edward
I think
Styles.
I think a lot of parents stopped naming their children Richard because of what's coming their way.
If they don't want a Dick
on the playground.
I mean, Harry's not great.
No.
Harry's cute. Harry's like a little kid named Harry is cute.
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
there's plenty of Harrys.
Yeah, Harry Potter probably helped Harry's.
I watched a Mike.
Resurgence.
You'll 100% relate to this. I was watching this reality show called "I Want to Marry Harry," where I don't think they even aired all of the episodes because it was so bad. So I had to like seek out how the season ended. It was like a bachelor, but they had a guy that looked just like Prince Harry, and they had these people convinced that they were trying to marry Prince Harry.
Come on.
Yeah. So like they would say like, well, we can't talk about him. He's very private about his family. And they just like throw in like random pictures of like the queen on like the mantle. So like the people that were competing for who they thought was Prince Harry were like always gossiping, like, could this really be him? Could this really be him? And they're like, well, we can't talk about it. And they'd have like Secret Service and helicopters. And it was like this whole ridiculous thing to try to get these people to think that they were going to marry Prince Harry. And then at the end, spoiler alert, if you're planning on catching up on this, at the end, he had to reveal that he was not, in fact, Prince Harry. And then they had to decide if they actually wanted to stay with him or not.
We should do that with the Red Sox, Christian Arroyo and me.
But you're married.
I'm just saying, we just have some fun, do it for the YouTube channel. Am I right, Dan?
Billy, why do you subject yourself to this torture, Billy? These reality
He loves
shows?
it.
I mean, but think about that concept is
That's
insane.
Great.
It's an insane concept.
I cannot abide any reality show that is cruel to its contestants like that.
They all knew. I bet they all knew.
How could you possibly think that you're going on a reality show to marry a member of the British royal family?
Marry Harry. Wordplay, man.
I would like to, if it's okay. I want Billy to name like the top 5 things he's watching right now and have Mike Schur, creator of great television, be offended by each of them.
How dare you?
Right.
What do you mean? I'll tell you this. The last time that we did this, I was talking to Mike, and he suggested a show called The Other Two to me, and I started watching it. In fact, I got to the point, I think there was only 2 seasons so far, right?
Correct.
So I got to like episode 8 of season 2, and I stopped. I like binged like in, like 4 days or something, because they're quick, like 20-minute episodes. So I got all the way to within like 3 episodes of catching up. I started to I don't even know what it would be. It's like ultimate, penultimate. What's the third away from the end?
Anti-penultimate.
The anti-penultimate. So I got to the anti-penultimate episode. And then I stopped.
You really whipped that out. Sure, you've been waiting all your life to whip that out. You really threw that at us.
It's ANTE penultimate, just in case you want to jot it down.
Like before.
Yeah,
Like
I tapped that out,
Fancy lad.
So I get to the anti-penultimate episode, and I stopped watching for whatever reason, and I haven't gone back, and it was like 3 weeks ago, and I don't know what happened. I just got distracted by another shiny object.
Did you enjoy it when you watched it? You must have enjoyed it. It's good, right?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a good show, and I was like, I felt actually attacked in one of the episodes because they had the guy, I forgot the brother's name, but they had the brother join Cameo, and they were just making fun of everyone on Cameo, and I'm like, this is kind of my life. Like, this is kind of what's going on with some of these cameos, and they were just making fun of people who do Cameo, and I was like, yeah, this is like an attack on me. And I wondered if you were like, let me insult Billy, not directly, let me have him watch about,
get out of here, Altuve.
Let me have him watch about 8 hours of TV just to insult him by having.
It's amazing that you watched that show and saw a joke about Cameo and took it as like a personal affront to yourself.
It was very.
This was aimed directly at you.
Well, I don't think that the writer had me in mind, because I don't obviously no one knows who I am, but I was watching it and I'm like, this is what people think of me. Because here's the thing. I am aware of people that like request Jose Canseco on Cameo, obviously as jokes, to have Jose Canseco make some sort of insane video and send to their friends. And it was like a realization to me, like, half of these people are probably just making fun of me, and I'm just, being a clown for them. So
I don't. I think there's different people go to Cameo for different reasons. I would think some of them is like, it'll be funny to hear Smokey Robinson say Chinooka. Some of them go because it'll be funny to hear Jose Canseco, because it's funny that Jose Canseco would say like whatever. Yeah. And then there's people that like genuinely like they're fans of your radio show that were like, oh, my buddy loves that show, I'll get this guy from that show. Like some of it, like half of it is sincere and half of it is ironic. So I wouldn't worry that there's not like it's only a joke. Some of it's sincere.
Only half the people are making fun of me then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
no,
50% of the audience.
That you know of.
I believe you've got a good Q rating, Billy, on Cameo. Although, Mike, that's your friend, right? Who like leads Cameo in earnings from The Office. What's his name? The heavyset guy.
Baumgartner.
Brian Baumgartner. Is he like Brian, the #1 guy in Cameo?
It was released that he was, which is kind of effed up by Cameo, because like, why would you want that out there that you've made over $1 million doing cameos? I was also trying to like figure it out, like
to get people
how does he live his life? How does he have time to do anything? Because at the rate that he was charging, he'd have to do thousands and thousands of videos a year. Which
what was he charging?
It wasn't a ton. It was like maybe
like
less
a few
than
hundred.
It was like less than $200, I think. So to make $1 million a year, he'd have to make like 5,000 videos.
Well, what are they? They're like a minute a piece, right?
Well, probably. I mean, you can control it. How much?
Right, but like if you're charging $200,
$195, you can get one.
Okay, so $200 a minute.
Yeah.
So in 10 minutes, you can make $2,000.
Billy,
if you do it right on one,
he gets 75% of the $195.
Billy, this is the thing, though.
He probably does it different than I do.
This is what I was going to say. Yeah. You're hugely inefficient about this. I can imagine that. First
Billy
of all,
sends 5-minute cameos.
Not only 5 minutes, but I'm guessing he gets them exactly perfect. So he's not doing it. He's not releasing them on the first time. He wants. Like, I can imagine Billy being very self-critical and doing each one 20 times.
There's a number of things that make me redo cameos. The #1 killer of the cameo. No, I haven't done that. The name I'm fine with. The name is okay. I haven't messed up the name before. The one thing that constantly happens to me is, for whatever reason, if you have a pop-up on your iPhone, it will stop the recording.
Yeah.
So I'll have either an alarm.
You gotta go do not disturb, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'll either have an alarm go off or my battery will be dying and I'll get like the 20% pop-up come off. So I'll be like 4.5 minutes into a video and I'm like 2 sentences away from wrapping it up. And then something pops up like while I'm like, by the way, happy birthday. And then it'll just cut it off. And I'm like, oh, I need to do it again.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time. All the time.
I mean, a quick calculation would suggest that you can make many thousands of dollars an hour if you're efficient about your cameos.
Well, I'm not, though.
Get down. Get down. No foul.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yes,
no foul territory down there. How did that go foul?
I would say that of Billy in general, you could say of just his earning potential in general, Billy, you could make many more thousands of dollars if you were more efficient.
Well, you know.
Verdugo just missed a double by an inch.
That's another guy people say I look like.
That's what I'm saying. There's like 4 of them that look like
Really? People also say I look like Boston fans too. So
that you do. There's about 8,000 guys in the stands right now that you look like.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Jimmy Butler. I read something about him the other day that one of his great inspirations and the reason he works so hard is Mark Wahlberg.
For why and for what?
That he just loves to.
Is he inspired by Mark Wahlberg, or he wants to impress him and befriend him? Or?
Wahlberg, I can't believe that. Well, maybe I shouldn't be surprised by this at all. But Wahlberg, when he's on a movie set, will get a hotel room and fill it just personally with all of his weights as part, and then will work out at 4:00 in the morning. Because he's turned in a hotel room into his own personal gym with like all the equipment, not like a few dumbbells, but like all the equipment.
Yeah, I believe that. That's easy
that
to
seems
believe.
more expensive than just like renting out a gym for an hour wherever you are. Right? I mean, maybe I don't know.
I think he wants to just like roll out of bed and work out without going anywhere,
or brushes his teeth or something.
Yeah.
I during the beginning stages of quarantine, I feel like I don't know why I feel like I sent it to you, Mike, but during the beginning stages of quarantine, there was a person that was in the building that I lived at that every day would get like a hotel cart moving thing, and he would put a weight bench on it, and he would take it down the elevator and he would set it up behind the building because there was water there to work out by the water. Every single day he would do this. I'm going to find this picture. I need to show you. It was the strangest thing. I was talking to someone and I was like, I need to send someone this picture. I don't remember.
So wait, he took his workout equipment out of his apartment and brought it to the edge of the water on the beach and then worked out and then brought it back?
100%. Almost every day. It was the strangest thing I had ever seen.
Was it Mark Wahlberg? Does Mark Wahlberg live in your building?
No.
Dan, I think the entire Red Sox lineup has gone cold, and I blame you.
This is one of the things about you that's amazing, Mike, because it's not just that you're a brilliant human being who believes that the Yankees are capable of black magic, but your analysis as a hugely brilliant, analytical baseball mind was, if all our guys go cold right now, and I fear it a great deal, we have no chance. And of course, if anybody has a team of all guys going cold, they're not going to have a chance. You are in right now. You have the worst playoff team that was in the sport, and you've got a best of 3 series against the Astros. That is, you are playing with so much house money as a team that's not better than the Blue Jays, not better than the Rays, probably not better than the Yankees either.
No. Well, they were probably a coin flip at the Yankees from top to bottom, I think. Like they were,
well,
it was
not the way that
50-50.
you experienced it.
Well, no, because the Red Sox don't practice satanic arts, and so the Yankees had that one advantage. But they're certainly not better than the Rays. They're probably not better than the Astros, although again, Fangraphs had this series as exactly 50-50 out to 4 decimal points. But they weren't better than the Blue Jays. Like I freely acknowledge this is house money. The problem with saying it's house money, which is absolutely true, is that you get to this point in a baseball season so rarely that when you do get there, you feel like if you don't win, it's the Heat making the NBA finals. It's like if you don't finish it off, it's like you don't know when you're going to be back there, because in order to get to this point, you have to be good and then you have to get really lucky. So they were pretty good and then they got very lucky because they all got hot at the same time. And now for the last 15 innings or so, maybe more, they've been basically, since the first inning of last night's game, they've been basically comatose. And if they remain so, then they're just going to get swept out, and it'll be sad because it's great when you are playing with house money, but if you're gambling with house money and you go back to zero, you're still sad. You know, if you lose everything, you're still sad. And so
I've done it. And isn't every series technically 50-50 at the beginning?
There you go, Chris.
I'm not so sure it's not.
It's
You
not.
win or you lose, Mike. 50,
Either team can win. There's 2 teams.
Yeah, that is how math works.
You know.
Right.
I stand corrected.
Yep.
All teams are equal, and home field advantage is meaningless.
That's what I'm here for.
You do look like Christian Arroyo, by the way. Now I see it.
Yeah. Mike, what is your ideal seat?
They're being no hit right now, for the record. They're being no hit.
You had to say it. You had to say it.
All right, I'm going to leave for an inning, see if it changes for you. I'll come back in a little while.
I bet you it will.
Yeah.
All right. I'll try anything.
Mike, what is your ideal seat at a baseball game? If I gave you just like you can have season tickets for the rest of your life at this one seat at Fenway, where are you choosing it to be?
Great question. I feel like that calculation has changed a little bit because now every stadium has the nets up all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you still want to be close to the field, but like your view of the game is worse now than it used to be. Like if you're sitting at like behind the dugouts or something, it used to be the best seat in the house, but now it's like there's like a mesh filter between you and the action. I don't know. I mean, when I sit higher up and I can see over, I went to SoFi, not for baseball, but for obviously because I don't play baseball there. But I went to SoFi for the first time to see the Rams-Bucks game, and their suites are not like super high. Like they determined somehow that the optimal viewing spot for a football game is 20 rows back. So they put 20 rows of seats in, and then they put the suites in that row right above that, and then there's like 3 sections above it. It's incredible. Like the view is perfect. And so I'm tempted to say that the ideal seat, the ideal season ticket would be like right above where the view of the field is right up. Your eye line is right above the net.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also nice. It's also cool to be down really like right behind the dugout where you like see all the players come in after the end.
The nets don't bother me that much. I haven't gone to a ton of games, but don't bother me that much.
Does it depend on the color of the net?
Well,
if you have a white net or a black net.
The net they're all the same color.
I thought they were all.
It's not that way in hockey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So wait, how does it work in hockey? Is there netting above the glass, like behind the 2 nets?
Yes, it's above the glass, beyond the 2 nets.
It extends a little bit around the sides, but it's mainly just at the ends.
Yeah, just at what the high glass stops is where the net stops.
And how often are pucks dangerously flying into the crowd that don't get stopped by the glass or those nets?
Not often.
Really?
Slap shots from the point, if they're deflected, they don't really go over the glass. If somebody's flipping the puck into the zone from the neutral zone, it doesn't go over the net. So it's pretty safe back there.
Fans are generally safe, is what you're telling me.
Behind the glass, yeah. Beyond the nets, they are, yeah.
You know what I think of a lot when I went to one of the Dodger playoff games and had really good seats, like behind home plate, a couple sections toward the third base dugout. It's so weird that there are places that you can stand when you're on deck behind the hitter where you know you're safe from foul. Like there's just the laws of physics somehow mean that the batter can't hit a foul ball, like foul it back where you're standing. Like they just stand there and it's like, it seems like it's very dangerous, but for some reason it's impossible for a ball to go to where you're standing. Like that would scare me so much if I were back there.
So that's Juan Encarnacion.
Right.
Did he get hit?
Oh, his career ended.
Yeah.
He's another former Marlin. Yeah, he was on the Cardinals. Yeah, he goes on the Cardinals. He got drilled in the eye by a foul tip when he was on deck. His career was over. They like took him out. It was like a whole sad day.
I stand corrected. Yeah. Sorry, Juan.
I remember watching this blooper of this guy named, I think, David Holtz. He played for the Rangers, and he foul tipped, I believe, 6 or 7 straight pitches to the exact same portion of the dugout, the exact same spot.
Wow.
In his own dugout. Like so much so that every player and trainer in the dugout moved to the other side of the dugout.
But If you're a baseball player, you do it so often that I can't imagine any of them are ever thinking that something like that could happen, right?
Yeah, I mean they've been standing on deck for their entire lives, right? So like they must know, it must not be scary to them. I think about that kind of thing a lot when there's a really tense baseball game, like it's 5-4 in the 8th inning,
Everyone up on
playoff
the
game,
top of the fence,
people going crazy, whatever. And then you see like the guys that like there's a runner on second who's the tying run. He's like chatting with the shortstop and stuff. Like I always have the same thought, which is maybe boring, but also I find interesting, which is basically like these guys, by the time they get here, have played in every kind of game. They've played in games where they won by 20 and lost by 20, where they were up 15-0 in the first inning and then lost, where they were down 15-0 in the first inning, came back and won. Like 7,000 walk-offs, 7,000 like one hitters. Like there's no version of a baseball game that they've never seen before, so they're just kind of bored by it. Like they don't have the same feeling we have, which is like, oh God, what's going to happen? Because it's so boring because they've played it so many times.
Like they don't need to think about like, all right, if it's hit here, I'm going here. If it's hit there, like
Yeah.
when I'm playing men's softball and there's one out and I'm on second, I'm like, okay, if it's a line drive this way, I got to freeze that way. Like they're just like, I'm just going to go on instinct.
Their bodies are machines that are programmed to do things. And like, that's why it's so weird when you see like that Ben Simmons non-layup in the playoffs last year that like ended his time in Philadelphia. Like it's so weird because it's like you expect his body to just take over, see the basket and dunk it, and when he didn't, it was like, oh, there's something really wrong with this dude.
I googled Juan Encarnacion to see what he's up to. Bad results.
Oh no.
Yeah,
he's in prison, right?
He's facing trial for child molestation.
Oh God.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So are we happy he got hit in the eye?
I don't think they're related.
Yeah, but
I don't think he.
I feel less bad.
Yeah,
now.
I do. I was feeling bad for him, and now I don't. Yeah.
I think I'm just going to Google people before I bring anyone up moving forward, just to be safe.
Right. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Smart.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that what we just saw from Bregman ended the season
for the Giants.
Mike, we're 2 outs away from Chris Sale doing exactly what you wanted. Actually, better than what you wanted.
Yeah, I know. It's 2 big outs though. It's Bregman and Alvarez. So don't. I'm not counting my chickens yet.
Yeah, that did end the season for the Giants. And that was the exact same thing.
Do you know anyone with chicken coops?
Like raising chickens at their house?
Yeah, some people like to have farm fresh eggs. I've seen it.
No, I do not.
Oh.
Why do you ask?
Well, no, because you said you don't count your chickens. So I was wondering if maybe, you knew anyone that did that.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Foul. Oh, God. See, this is like second time through the lineup, this particular lineup.
Yeah.
This is a little dicey right now.
Oof. Wow.
That was a
I don't
rocket.
like Bregman.
I've heard he's a nice dude.
Astro, though.
Really? Have you?
Yeah, I've heard he's a nice dude.
I've heard the opposite.
Well, there you go.
Who's your source on that?
Well, I can't reveal that. But you're more well connected than I am, so
right.
I'll take your word for it, Mike.
So there's a walk. He's at 58 pitches.
I heard
Alvarez
in general before the whole cheating scandal that the Astros were and before the whole thing where they had executives getting fired for the treatment of reporters in the clubhouse, that they were just not a great group.
Well, I mean, the truth is that I think that depending on what metrics you're using to judge whether people are good or not good, it's pretty likely that no group of baseball players would be considered a good group. Like, I think baseball players in general it's not a great lot.
So they're going to the bad places, basically what you're saying.
I would venture to say that many of them, yes, are ticketed for that destination. I mean, they're just like, it's not like I don't know. It's not a super like Chris Sale's an anti-vaxxer, for example, right? Like there's not a lot of like dudes on these teams that I think you would want to hang out with outside of like we're better off watching them play and rooting for them without knowing anything about them. I think
like Doming your heroes
as a very broad brush. Yeah.
Like in high school, everyone always hates the baseball team, kind of thing.
That's true. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In my school, pick them off. In my school, the cool kids played lacrosse.
Oh,
That was the big game in my high school, and the baseball team, my team, was like the kind of trashy kids.
oh. So were you a trashy kid?
No, I wasn't a trashy kid, but I did hang out with them, and they were my teammates.
Oh,
So has lacrosse been in the Northeast a popular thing for a while? Because lacrosse, like in the last 15 years, 10 years, it's really blown up, right?
Has it really? I don't know. I
hope I'm
haven't
not
kept
call-
tabs on it, but
I'm not trying to call you old. I just didn't know that. I just didn't know that lacrosse was like a huge thing.
lacrosse was huge in Connecticut.
I
when
guess I'm
was
calling
growing
you
up
old.
in
I'm sorry.
Connecticut.
That was really
That's fine. You're not. I am old. I'm
Very rude of you.
My birthday's in 10 days. 9 days.
happy birthday.
Thank you. 46. Can you believe that? 46
can't.
years old.
Any big plans?
First time we did this, you were 45.
I don't have any big plans now.
Hopefully, World Series game, maybe. That's probably
Yeah, that'd be fun.
How do you feel about your birthday in general?
I have very
Like, are you a big birthday person? Like, you want, like, you don't strike me as like birthday month and you need to do things and, you know, a lot of attention.
I find it kind of embarrassing. I don't like calling attention to myself or Jesus Christ.
No,
Oh.
that's fine.
Other than when you just told us it was your birthday.
Yeah, you did kind of bring that up.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna like call you back to remind you. You know what I mean?
Well, let's write this down on the calendar.
Yeah.
How many days from now? 9 days? What is that, the 29th?
It's the 29th, yeah.
Ooh, right before Halloween. How did that play out in your life?
Great question. Personally, I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was because I think after Halloween would have been a bummer.
Yeah.
But whenever I had a birthday party as a kid, everyone was like super psyched because it was like, hey, we get to go to a party. And also there's another fun thing happening 2 days from now. Plus, and this is key when you're a kid, I always like summer birthdays are actually bad when you're a kid because everyone's out of town. Like you can't really have a party. You got to have your party when school is
Mine's May 20th. Jeez.
Mine's July 11th.
That's not bad though, because everybody's still in school.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's still in school, you're fine. Your
All right,
party's
Nobody's
fine.
in school with my birthday, though.
Are you guys, like, you're really not sure if you had good birthdays or not unless Mike told you that it was okay?
Yeah, I probably didn't have any. I didn't have
Now I feel
Past
better
the
about
age of having birthday
No.
parties, you would have known
No,
if people
so
missed
says
them
you.
or not.
I needed the
Dan, when's your birthday?
Christmas birthday.
My birthday is December 16th. The reason that I just came on here, though, is because I wanted a sports radio show to break out around these reports of Tua to Washington, Deshaun Watson to Miami.
Whoa, what?
Wait.
Well, it's just
Is it official?
right now. It's not. It's
I'm
just
a Chargers fan, but
it's just stuff being talked about. But that the Houston reporter, I think his name is John McClain. I think it's his name.
That's the name of the guy in Die Hard.
he's no Bobby Mark.
I think
Hey, Louis.
that he reported that the Dolphins are interested in Watson. Stephen Ross is, the reports are, I don't know what's true here, that Stephen Ross has wanted Watson, and now they're in a totally desperate situation now that they're 1-5. And so now what's spreading is just a lot of rumored stuff.
The Heineke year is done?
That's the big story here. I think that's
Man, what a legacy he'll leave, though. You know what I mean? Like, what an
came
era.
closer to beating Tom Brady last year than Rodgers, Breeze, or Mahomes.
I'm happy to talk about this, but I will point out that you were gone and Sale was pitching fine, and then you showed back up, and now there's first
All right,
and third.
I'll leave again.
No, don't leave. It's fine. He just struck out. Correa on a high.
I feel like the Dolphins are reacting to my switch to the Chargers, and they're like, "We need to really."
I have a legitimate
You cannot trade for Deshaun Watson right now.
Well,
Oh, I
that
thought you
was
meant
going to be
can't
my
do it.
question.
He's going to prison.
But if you do, are you then just daring the NFL to discipline him? Because there's no actual reason that he hasn't played. The NFL hasn't said he can't play. They're just kind of doing the right thing and not putting him out there. But if you trade for him, are you going to trade for him just to not play him when there's no actual discipline against him? It's a weird position.
What if they trade Tua to the Chargers? That'd be weird. Anyway, sorry.
You're still Chargers fan.
hoping to get Herbert.
Epically bad analysis by you. Just unbelievably bad by you.
What's happening
if
to
they
Herbert?
traded to the team that's secure at quarterback with a young person for the next
team
15
least
years?
likely to need a new quarterback for the next 15 years.
Just going through all the options in my head right now.
Right.
But that would have been the last one.
What if the Dolphins end up with Herbert?
You decided to go loudest with the option no one's talking about.
They're the 32nd most likely team, 31st most likely team to trade for any
It is
quarterback.
as bad analysis as I've heard as instant reaction
You
to
never
breaking
know.
stuff in the history of this medium.
First and third, big spot here.
He's going to get out of this. 1-1 count, 2 outs.
Is he going to get
Ooh.
out of this?
Oh, yeah.
He's throwing. He's every one of his fastballs in this at bat in the last one have been 97 and 98 because he knows he's at 70 pitches and this is his last inning. So he's just like letting it all out. He's a
Mike,
he's a max effort closer right now.
I know that pitching is an unnatural act, and I know that the human body is not meant to do that. But it's still shocking to me to see Chris Sale be someone that you're saying, well, he knows he's got to throw 97 in the fourth inning because this guy who's been basically dominant the entire time. Look at how happy Mike is. Yes.
I told you.
98 up. Catch that, Kyle Tucker.
Why did he cover his mouth there? He can shout. He can be happy.
He's going to go right into the clubhouse and get a vaccine shot. That's how psyched he is right now. That's how hype he is.
Yeah. That'd be weird if he did that.
Well, look, he's coming off Tommy John, right? He's started 10 games since Tommy John surgery or something. I don't think he's thrown more than 80 pitches in a start.
TJ.
This is the playoffs. He knows, like, he gets into trouble in the fourth inning. He knows he's coming out. He's like, so he's like, all right.
I'm just saying it's weird to me, given that this is one of the power starting arms of, over a 5-year span. This was a guy that you could absolutely trust to go deep into games throwing 98 miles an hour. And I understand that arm injuries are all over the sport. It's just weird to me that you can't trust him at all because, because his arm has, worn and torn in a way that you're trying to get 4 innings out of him in a postseason game when you're paying him to be the ace of a staff.
Right. But just what defines the ace of a staff has changed completely in 10 years. It's complete. Like I think Scherzer is the only guy to go 7 in a postseason game this year so far. Like they just don't, it's not just about pitch count or arm. It's like, they just know that doesn't make sense to let you face a guy line of 4 times. It's the diminishing returns. And they have, when everyone in your bullpen throws 98, like the Dodgers have Brusdar Graterol is like their 5th best reliever. He throws 103. Like, why would you have anyone, even Max Scherzer, face a lineup for the 4th time if you have a guy who throws 103 miles an hour in your bullpen? It's ridiculous. Have you seen that? You should look up Blake Trinan overlay. If you YouTube that, Blake Trinan, another gem of a dude, by the way. If you watch him, like, they have an overlay where they matched up his 3 pitches coming out of his hand. And it's like the craziest thing you've ever seen. It's 3 balls that go like that. It's just like they've got that guy. Why would you let Max Scherzer face anybody 4 times when you have that guy sitting around? Not even as your closer. They have Kenley Jansen as their closer, who's gotten 12 outs this postseason, and they're all strikeouts. Like, it's just ridiculous. So I don't blame them. I think in the playoffs, if you throw 5 innings, it's a great start if you can get through 5 innings.
Billy, can we do this? Can we have, although I like the perfection of our analysis to the Dolphins possibly making a big move being, what if they traded Tua to the Chargers?
Listen, I know you weren't happy with that, so we've reached out. We have somebody that's going to come on and report on the
There you go.
Oh, no.
I was actually,
we will have someone here. And
I was actually reading.
Oh, no.
Is your dad going to say something stupid? Is he going to just put on his
I may have just called him on mute, and I broke the news to him. So he's got some digging to do.
But we'll get his analysis.
No.
It's not news. It's just a whole lot of people talking right now. It's a whole lot of internet.
If he unsolicited brings up the Chargers or Tua to the Chargers, it'll be one of the great moments in YouTube history.
Any trade possibility where the tweet by Barry Jackson ends, big risk of dealing Tua is Tua becoming great and grand jury possibly indicts Watson is not ideal.
It sounds like a worst case scenario.
It'd be so Dolphins. It's so Dolphins to trade Tua and end up just with a prisoner.
Here's what you want. You want them to make the trade. Tua gets on the plane. When he lands in Miami, he's met on the tarmac by FBI agents who then lead him away.
No, I got it as he runs out for the standing ovation to the huddle. I've got a team of agents sweeping in and just whisking him off.
It's like those when the cops set up stings where they find people with outstanding warrants and they say like, hey, there's a boat show, and if you come to this boat show, you can get a free coupon for whatever. And then they lure all the people with outstanding warrants to the boat show, and then as soon as they show up, they arrest them. This is the FBI just going like, hey, good news, you were traded. Good news, Deshaun, you were traded to Miami, and they're just going to be waiting at the airport for him to land.
Chris, I think your first question, without any context to your father, should be that. What if Tua were traded to the
What
Chargers?
about Tua to San Diego? What have you heard? Just throw that at him.
Los Angeles, be careful. It's a mistake I make all the time.
All right, I'll put $5 in the I only have a 10.
I love that we're going out there and we're in breaking news mode. You are going to get longtime Miami Herald columnist Greg Cote to
Where did you see this report?
Oh, it started with the guy from Die Hard reporting this in Houston, and then now it's just spreading through less credible sources.
Tua to WFT is trending on Twitter, so it's a thing.
I mean,
so let's talk about this though for a second, Mike, because you love sports, and this is a bit outrageous. The idea that what Billy just said, that Houston's actually doing the right thing. There's this nebulous area with the players union and collective bargaining, and whether you can actually punish Deshaun Watson by taking away money when we're still in an innocent till proven guilty, even though it's he said, she said, she said, she said, she said, she said, she said 23 times. And trading for him seems nuts. Like, he's available. Anybody can have him. And only the Dolphins are desperate enough to actually do the thing of allowing the Houston Texans to be more morally right than you are about this.
You can't trade for that guy. I'm sorry. Like, it's for like ethical reasons and for football reasons. Take your pick. Like, be cynical about it. Don't care about ethics or morality. You still can't trade for him because he's not going to play. And if you trade for him and play him, what do you stand for as an organization? I mean, it's absurd. No one can trade for him. And then beyond that, you have the Texans saying, no, we want like 7 first-round picks and 4 starting players.
But
which
Mike,
is the craziest.
If you're willing to take the PR hit of trading for him, are you then willing to take the PR hit of playing him?
Of course you are. I mean, why would you trade for him if you're not going to play him? Like, they're one and the same. So, but how can you? But you can't take that hit. I mean, forget about taking the hit. Like, innocent until proven guilty is the standard for criminal justice in the country. It's not the standard for what you want to represent as an organization or as a general manager or as an owner. Like, there's no such standard. You can hire and fire anyone you want if you're an owner.
I mean, the Browns have Kareem Hunt, the Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs.
Yes.
This happens. Like,
it's not a bright line. Like, there's not a, like, if it's on this side of the line, you're fine. And if it's this side of the line, you're not. But if anything is on this side of the line, the Deshaun Watson situation is so far on that side of the line, you can't possibly be an organization that stands for that. And in the past, not with the same situation, but with situations that resemble this or in the same general giant umbrella of like morality. Like, look at what happened to the Ravens when they brought Ray Rice back. He came out on the field. He got a standing ovation, which was absurd for like a scrimmage. And then like 2 seconds later, he was out of the league. Why would you bring any of this on your own organization? Even if you don't do it for purely cynical reasons, which are like, we don't want to have to deal with the PR or the fan relations or whatever. Even if that's the reason, which isn't the right reason, but it's a reason. How do you do it? Why
can't the reason be more human than that? Your owner is 81. Your owner's 81 years old, and your coach is on the hot seat. You are a special kind of desperate, and we bring in Miami Herald columnist Greg Cote of the Miami Herald. Look at him.
We just wake him from a nap. What's happening here?
He is
He's
breaking
been
into,
hammering. He's been flipping through his Rolodex, calling his old contacts to see what he's got.
That
Rolodex, nice
yeah,
reference.
turn the camera a little towards you, get us a little more centered here. Just like our little production here.
There you go.
Greg, what we're hearing, unconfirmed,
light
is Tua to San Diego. Have you heard that or not?
San Diego?
Yeah. Agreed team deal.
Yeah.
There's
We
not a
heard-
team in San Diego. Sure, you just
We heard Tua to San Diego.
What do you have? Watson getting on a flight on a vacation?
That's
to
what
San
I've heard.
Diego?
What I have heard on this YouTube thing that we're doing is Tua to San Diego.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. I'm
Diego, right?
just
Yeah.
telling you what I've heard.
What are you
Okay.
hearing? What are your people telling you, Greg?
I heard he was going to the Baltimore Colts, as long as we're mentioning defunct franchises. Obviously, there's the Washington rumor. There's a Denver rumor is still around. All of these rumors are happening and being refuted. I don't know what's going on. The guy who covers the Dolphins for ESPN says his source says none of these rumors are true.
Wow.
The one thing that caught my eye is that John McClain of the Houston Chronicle knows
And
his
from
beat
Die Hard.
and knows his team as well as anybody who covers the NFL. So if he's saying that a deal could happen as early as this week, my ears perk up. I still find it hard to believe with all these criminal and other allegations against him that they would make a deal now. I would think they would, if they're going to do it, they wait till the air clears on Watson.
Who's that guy from the Dolphins that the Greg Cote of like Houston, for example, says that guy is the one that covers the Dolphins better than anyone I know?
Are you jealous, Greg, that John McClain has a identity in Houston that you don't have with the Dolphins, even though you've written the not best-selling book on 50 years of Miami Dolphins history?
Well, first of all, John McClain actually covers that team.
Right.
He covers, I don't know whether you know this, but for like 30 years, he has been a full-time guy covering the Houston Texans. I don't cover the Dolphins. I keep an eye on everything. I'm going to the Heat game tomorrow night. I'm going to the But so I don't know. What do you want me to say?
You said it, man.
Yeah.
I asked you if you were jealous, and you gave me his bona fides and your bona fides, and yours were lesser bona fides. You're a generalist who writes underwear columns, and he's out there gathering news and breaking stories and being credible.
Right, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on to insult me like that. That's just really a wonderful thing.
This isn't about Greg Cody's bona fides. This is about Tua, and it's about Deshaun Watson. Let's stay on task here.
Right.
Back to LA.
Levitard always does that. Whenever Levitard insults somebody,
Shameful.
and somebody gets really angry, his default is to start laughing to make it seem like everything's fine.
You think it's
great.
a nervous
I'm going to
tick?
start laughing. I'm not laughing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you shouldn't.
Here he goes
Not
again.
the only
Here it
one.
goes. Fine.
Greg, if you could give the Miami Dolphins advice, if they came to you and said, we're thinking about trading for Deshaun Watson, what would you tell them?
I would say if he's cleared of all this, if there's a settlement in all the lawsuits against him, if he's cleared legally with the 10 civil, the 10 legal cases against him, then by all means, make a trade if you can that doesn't involve, 114 draft picks. But until the legal part is cleared, I would stay away from him. There's so much, even if he is cleared, there's still a chance he's going to be on the commissioner's exempt list for at least a season. So there's so many things happening that aren't known yet.
Are you disappointed in your franchise? Excuse me. Are you disappointed in the franchise of your childhood that that they're the only team that has been linked in any way credibly and consistently to a guy that is a national and international pariah right now?
I'm a little disappointed but not surprised. As you mentioned, Stephen Ross is in his early 80s. Patience is not a big thing with owners in the early 80s, and he's failed at every turn in his ownership. So he's literally desperate now more than ever. But
this is insane. You don't get a pass on morality because you're old and you're going to die soon. Like that's just such a crazy argument. Like I mean, I'm saying you're making this argument. I'm just
Right.
saying that like
I'm
people
going to be
say that
so
about like
immoral. I'm going to be so immoral right before my death. I'm going to have great permission to be totally immoral because at that
doesn't
point,
work
come
that
on.
way, man. Like it's like, oh well, I won't have to deal with the consequences for long because I'll be dead. So I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Like, what kind of a way is that to live? Like, I don't care that you've sucked at your job for however long you've sucked at your job. That doesn't mean you get to like you get to like just decide you can do whatever now because it's like you're gonna die soon. I hate that argument.
Chris.
By the way,
Sale,
Chris
I mean,
Sale,
5,
well
yeah.
done, Chris Sale.
The phrase
standing
"selling
O,
your
though.
soul to the devil" was invented for a reason, and
there's
the
one
reason might have
person.
been Stephen Ross.
Oh,
Greg, I'd like to
there are people standing.
deconstruct our relationship here in public for everybody.
Uh-oh.
If annoying me at all times is funny, why is me then getting you angry not funny?
It is.
Well, because you annoying me seems to have a consistent theme where you make fun of me being lazy and never breaking stories.
Underwear
and writing
columns is a big
underwear
thing.
columns.
Yeah, big
And
thing.
am I jealous of another writer? Because and it's I take all that personally. When I make you angry, it tends to be because I miss a hard network out, or I'm just doing something stupid on the air, or derailing the show. So I think it's a little bit different.
But it's all content. We're existing. We're not having this conversation off air. We're having this in public. And our Larry David Funkhauser relationship of loving each other but annoying each other is a comedic gold mine.
Wait a minute.
So
Which one of you's Larry David?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Doesn't
I tell you,
matter.
man, Billy cuts right to the chase. He's on
I
the
mean, it
mark.
doesn't matter.
That's a high bar.
I'll be Funkhauser. I'm just talking about
God rest
what the
his soul.
relationship is like, where we're clearly friends, and yet
Right.
we're always bumping up against each other and having ridiculous arguments about stupidity. Sure, do you have a relationship like this? You're too decent and kind, right? You don't have a relationship with anybody that's exactly this, right? Where you annoy each other on purpose and it's funny and you love each other.
Well, I don't have the call to turn my personal relationships into media content for people. So no. I mean, I have different kinds of friendships with different kinds of people, but I'm not trying to mine them for a radio show.
But if you were, you might be kind of a jerk sometimes.
But if your entire life were that you were leaving a hermetically sealed tube and then just going on air and mining your friends for content, then do you think that you might find some things like this amusing?
Sure. I will also say, though, at times as a fan of your show, there have definitely been multiple times when you've been riding Greg Cote and I've been like, Jesus, Le Batard, like lay off the guy.
The chat's doing it to him right now. The chat's on my dad's side with this one, for sure.
No, and Stugatz too, but that's the construct. It's the entire formula. Like, I'm the asshole. Like, that's the thing. That's how everybody else gets to succeed despite being incompetent.
Right.
Yes,
I can't argue with that. When
and
you say
also,
I'm the asshole,
and also then at times after I think that, then Greg or Stugatz will do something and I will immediately be back on your side and be like, oh no, they deserve everything that they're getting.
Right.
So it's a
That's the
back and forth.
formula. Like, how has it not been figured out?
We're dancing out here, baby. We're dancing.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing is built on that. The
Are
whole
you calling
thing.
Greg's? Are you calling Greg's landline, or is someone else calling Greg's
Red
landline?
Sox still need a hit.
Sorry
need a
about
base
that.
runner.
That was a source of mine calling me to say that Tua is being traded to the Canton Bulldogs.
I'm still hearing San Diego from my sources.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Chicago Cardinals over here.
Yeah, that could be too. St. Louis Cardinals. Yeah, all the
This
Cardinals.
is, by the way, this is a perfect
game.
game. I feel like I need to say that out loud. This is
Yeah,
a perfect game through 4 innings. They
Perfect
lit this
for
dude
you
up
for
last
what
time.
for what you want, or perfect for what?
No,
No,
hits,
Framber Valdez is throwing
no
a perfect
loss.
game through
Oh,
4
I
innings.
see.
12 up, 12 down against the Red Sox at Fenway.
There's Laz Diaz.
Ooh, there's some action in center field, it would appear.
Yeah, what are they talking about?
Laser pointer.
Yeah,
There's a couple
something.
things in professional sports that I feel like if I would have worked really hard at, I think I could have done.
No, here we go.
Professional kicker is one of those. I feel like if I dedicated my entire life to kicking footballs, I could have done that in the NFL. Another thing, I think I could have been an MLB umpire. If I just dedicated my entire, I'm telling you, I was a little league umpire, a damn good one. I was the one they would bring me in, like when they're doing clinics. Chris, come show them how it's done. I'm
they
telling you,
famously, people famously say that that the easiest jump in professional sports is from Little League umpire to MLB umpire.
Right.
That, like, that's the
right.
That's what I'm trying to say. If I really just would have worked at it.
I think it's true. Christopher was a good umpire.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Daddy.
I was the only parent in the stands to watch his son umpiring.
He would watch me umpire.
Would you really? You'd go to games he was umpiring and watch him?
He would.
Would you question his calls?
Did you give him
He
an
would argue with
attaboy
me.
on like a good call?
Oh yeah, when he does the flamboyant strikeout call, I'm like, yeah. And they think I'm cheering for the pitcher, but I'm cheering for the umpire's call.
Did you teach him any of that? Because you were an umpire too, right?
Well, we used to have street
get
Wow.
through.
Yeah.
All right.
Are the Red Sox scoring? Then
No,
why are
they
we
just gotta
cheering if
hit-
they're
they-
not scoring?
they
Your
just broke up
story
a no-hitter.
was so
They have a
good.
base runner. Yeah.
We were excited
They
about
haven't
your
had a base
story.
runner yet.
No, I invented the weird strikeout call
You
in
did.
the street.
You invented it.
I did.
What is
it? My strikeout call was hee-haw 3,
Mm.
except I would go hee-haw 3 like a donkey making the call.
Yeah.
And that was,
Why?
block wide. It
Why
was
Why a donkey?
famous.
Why?
You
Where'd
know,
that come from?
Well, because when you watch an umpire make a
tradition.
call in the major leagues, sometimes they go, hey, and you don't know what they're saying.
Mhm.
They're not saying strike 3. They're just making a noise that sounds like that.
So you said
so-
donkey noise.
Yeah, and so mine was hee-haw 3.
Mm.
But whatever noise they're making, that hit him.
Ooh.
That hit him.
All right.
First and second, nobody out.
Something brewing.
The whatever noise they make means strike. Like if they
Ford
make
does.
a noise, it's strike, and if they don't, it's a ball.
Right. Right. Don't you think hee-haw 3 fits
Well, it seems like he doesn't.
Nah, depends on the situation.
traditionalist? Let's get Kirchin's opinion.
Okay.
He's not allowed.
He would
on
love
it.
hee-haw
It's not
3.
allowed on the air.
Do you know John McClane of the Houston Chronicle, Greg?
I know him casually. We have
Okay.
Why don't you have him on? Send him the link.
I don't have his phone number.
Oh, why not?
The email address?
Look in the NFL Blue Book.
I think it's a black book, isn't it?
I don't know. You might be right. I think the NBA is the Blue Book.
Right.
That
Right.
bounced first. He's not going to be staying on first. Well, they can't review that, can they?
No, it doesn't matter.
That didn't hit him.
Yeah, it did.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? If it bounces on the ground and then hits him?
I don't believe it matters. I believe it's still a hit batter.
Really?
I think. Yeah, I'm fairly sure. Someone can correct us in the comments if that's
I mean,
wrong.
the umpire stared at the ball hitting the ground before it hit him.
Yeah, I believe it still counts as a hit by pitch.
Really? I'm learning.
Here's another question I have about the Dolphins and their the 81-year-old suddenly amoral owner. Why would you do this trade at all? Like Deshaun Watson hasn't played in a year or more, 18 months or something. You're 1-4. The Bills are very clearly better than everybody else in that division. You're not going to make the playoffs this year, even if you have Deshaun Watson. Why would you do this?
Well,
Like, what do you think is going to happen? How much better is the team going to get because you have
he's
Deshaun Watson?
25 years old and arguably a top 5 quarterback. I mean,
And he's going to be in jail when he's 26.
Oh, no.
Like
I'm not arguing that, but the on-field stuff. I mean, I see why they want to do it from an on-field perspective.
The part to me that is unfair and weird in the evaluation that has been sped up on people like Tua after whatever he's played 11 games is I believe that the Dolphins have 3 offensive linemen.
no. God damn it, Hunter Renfrow. Sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
What happened?
You hit into a double play.
It's so weird that we have 200
Runner on third.
Renfros. It's such a random name to have 2 of in sports. It's
Yeah.
Sorry,
spelled
Dan.
slightly
Dan, I
different.
apologize. I let my emotions get the better.
It's
of me.
quite all right. That's why we're here. You need not apologize for that. It's this.
Greg, what are you doing?
you guys are doing that.
No, I'm not actually. I should
People
be.
wanted to talk to him. But
Greg,
Deshaun
are these important calls that you should be taking? I mean,
No.
news is breaking.
No,
Do you-
they're not important calls, believe me.
Do you guys realize how strange it is to have 3 Dolphin offensive linemen in the top 10 in the league and allowing hurries? 3 of them are in the top 10. Like, you can't make an evaluation of a quarterback that way. It's not
Right.
like, never mind that I don't know what their skill guys are yet. You cannot, I didn't think that was possible Did you think, if I told you,
I think
is
they
it
bring in the
possible
strong
that a
mic.
team has 3 dudes in the top 10 allowing hurries after 2 decades of drafting offensive linemen? Would you told me that was in any way possible?
Yeah,
That's
it's a terrible offensive line. There's no running game.
Unplug the phone, Greg.
It's Dan.
Unplug the phone.
It's
This is
definitely
a
Dan.
nefarious inside job, these phone calls. I'm not that important or popular to get this many calls
Just
right in a row.
unplug the
Wow.
phone.
Inning
Just take
over.
the cord out.
No, I got to
runs.
go in a minute because I'm trying to have a life that doesn't totally involve content. But I do want to say,
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are the plans?
I do want to say that it's funny to me that we're having this conversation and all these new rumors are abloom the week after Tagovailoa plays arguably his best game as a pro.
Sell
And
high.
so
I swear, Dad, this is not me.
It's Dan. Look at Dan's
What do you mean
face.
it's
of course
me?
it is. He's using his
I'm
Butler
sitting here
phone because
talking
it
to
says
you guys right now. What do you mean it's me?
You got to
No,
call ID
typically-
there.
Usually it says the caller ID says Levitard Enterprises because he's the only guy I know who refers to himself as an enterprise. But this time it says private caller.
It
Like, I
says
don't
that
get
on my
private
birth
callers.
certificate.
For the love of God. All right, seriously, I got to go.
Where are you
All right.
going?
My wife just got home. My phone's ringing. I still got to take a shower. We're trying to go out to have a nice evening, and we
Oh,
will
good
not
for
be
you.
recording the evening.
Where are you going?
Look, my son's betraying me.
Mm.
Not for the first time. That's not even a top 10 betrayal.
Not
What
for
are
the
the
last
top
time.
10? What are
Will
the
you
top
Well,
call,
10?
will you, yeah.
The
go
Bushes
ahead.
incident.
The
would be
Bushes
yeah,
incident
the
is the
Bushes.
top
you
betrayal.
know, showing up shit faced at the PFBI gala.
Not
That
just
would rank up there.
well, he
Right,
didn't just
yeah.
show the Bushes. He charged people money to
I
show.
know he did.
That's
I
right.
profited
Instead of
Made money off
saving
of
me,
your
he's taking
agony.
video.
Yeah.
All right.
Will you call
Disgraceful.
back if you get some hot tips
Yeah.
from John McClane about
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
about the Tua situation?
Do some digging.
He
Okay.
keeps checking the phone as if he thinks it's a real call.
I mean,
You
it
never
could be.
know. You never know.
Thank you
Could
for
be
not
my
turning
wife
the
saying,
light
"What
on
the hell are
in
you
your
still
room."
doing on the phone? I thought you'd be showered because we're walking out the door to dinner."
Mm.
That kind of thing.
It's
Where you
gonna
going to
ring
dinner?
again. It's gonna ring again in 10 seconds.
I'm
Don't
sure
look
it
at
will.
it. Don't
Where are you
look
going to
at it.
dinner?
I'm not going to reveal the restaurant.
Why?
There'll be a crowd gathered there waiting for him and his wife.
What type of food are we talking about here?
He
Good
checks.
I mean, I hear a phone ringing. I check it. What can I tell you?
Greg, you like
That
the
is
Red Sox
true.
chances today?
It's hard to
No,
not look.
I did before the ninth inning last night. I'll tell you that.
Really?
the
That
game-
changed everything for you?
Dad, you know
That
there's a game
strikeout
going
should
on
have
right
ended
now.
the game. Red Sox
No.
should have won the game.
Well,
I'm
they were
not sure if he
tied.
knows there's a game going on right now. Actually,
Yeah, they're playing now.
Yeah.
No,
why-
is it
why
still
we're-
1-0?
That's why we're here.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
1-0. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get out of this Zoom because normally
It's all right. You don't need to go. You're
Just
fine.
leave your camera on and walk out of frame.
You're fine,
Just leave
don't
it on
worry.
for the rest of the Zoom.
Right. And then
I
come back
can't
later.
because I'm not wearing any pants. But
Oh, okay.
I don't believe
no, we got to
that.
leave right now.
Just
All right,
roll
I'm
out
gonna
of
see you all later.
Show me.
See you
goodbye.
Oh,
guys.
that's it.
Nice coming.
Yeah, make him big.
Sale's still in there.
I know.
Top of the sixth.
This is very risky.
This is the best game Chris Sale has thrown in how long, Mike?
He had a couple decent starts when he first came back. He was like 3-0 or something. He always had one inning where he gave up 3 or 4 runs, but there were a couple starts where he went.
I think he's about to start the third time through, though. This is could get dangerous here.
I think, this is.
No, but
I'm
every
sh- I'm-
manager in the big leagues takes them out now before the third time through the order, right? Every one of them.
Yeah, pretty much. I
It's
mean,
a new thing.
he has.
Mm,
I'm
not
sure he
straight.
is on the shortest of leashes here. If he allows a single base runner, he's gone. Oh, look, it was a laser pointer.
It's someone
Is that what they're
threw-
showing?
That is.
Yeah. That's weird. That's like in
This
a
is very-
service area.
Oh, relax,
chin music.
Altuve.
Get out of here.
Little
Relax.
chin music.
That ball wasn't close to you.
The worst.
You gotta wear that. You gotta wear that if you're him.
Who's the worst? Altuve, Billy?
Yeah, he's the worst. I hate him. I feel like an idiot for not knowing that if the ball hit the floor before it hit you, that it's still hit by pitch.
I
It's called the
actually
ground when
learned-
it's outside.
You can also hit it off the ground
Jeez,
too.
just piling
Yeah.
on here.
Yogi Berra did that.
Oh, that's a strike. That was a strike. that they called a ball.
Well, he got
think
one
it
of
was
the first
below it.
pitch that was
Wasn't that
a ball.
low? That wasn't
They
low.
called it straight.
This is
thought it
this
was
is
straight.
one of the great obsessions of Mike Schur that I want to
It's-
talk about, because his
ground
obsessive
and the floor.
Valid. It's a valid.
his obsessive compulsive noticing that an umpire missed a strike call that changed the outcome of how like I have been getting for 3 months pitches that have been called strikes that shouldn't have been strikes, usually about Yankee batters. And it seems like a special kind of nightmare to be tracking that stuff and that meticulous about it. You think umpiring is going to look like what in 5 years or 10 years, or is it going to be the same because that union's too strong?
No, it's not going to be the same. They can't leave it the same. Like we were talking about this before you got in here. All right, get him out of there. They can't. You can't exist in a world where every viewer at home sees every time the referees or umpires make a mistake. It's untenable. It's like we are all watching. The only person in the world who can't see if the ump has made a mistake is the ump. That's insane. That's such a bizarre way to live. And so they're testing. We were talking about this before, but they're testing in the low A and a couple of the minor leagues. They're testing the earpieces that just beep if it's a strike and don't if it's a ball. And like those, what's interesting is you guys talk all the time about how to increase offense in baseball. It turns out that when you properly legislate the strike zone, what you get is more offense.
Oh, no one's covering third. Oh my God, they got no outs.
Oh no.
That's what happens when you have a first baseman who doesn't play first base.
See, most disrespected position in all of sports.
Man, that went poorly.
You say the umpires are going to hear a beep. What if the umpires miss the beep?
First and third, no outs.
I believe the way they do it is it's reviewable. It's essentially reviewable, where they'll just say like, okay, if you missed it, then you get to. How did he miss this ball? I don't understand. What happened there?
He was probably looking at third and he freaked out.
Yeah, I think you're probably
He's
right.
just not a first baseman, I think. Also, that's another thing.
He should be able to catch a ball when it's thrown to him, though.
But I think it's like if it beeps in your ear and they make the wrong call, then they can just like say, like someone can be in their ear, hey, by the way, you just screwed that up. That was a strike. Like, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You have 20 seconds between pitches. I mean,
just dropped it. He just straight up dropped that ball.
Because I'm with you. I mean, I don't want umpires to go away. I just visually want them to still be there. But it's just so stupid that they're getting these balls and strikes wrong. Like that has to change by next season. I'm saying it. I'm saying it right now. Next season, they're going to do something because
next season when Tua is playing for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Now, this is not mockable. This is not mockable. This is going to happen. We are close to this. I'm telling you.
We're not close to it.
No,
there's no way. It's 5 years away, but it's going to happen.
Mark this, Lewis. Mark this. Look at me.
I am Lewis. Lewis was the one who flashed across your screen in the fourth inning that wasn't supposed to be on here. I have reached out to John Smoltz, who informs me that he's in the middle of the Fox broadcast.
He's calling the game. Yeah,
that would have been a good get.
And doesn't watch any of Mike Schur's shows. And I have reached out to Mike Lowell, who says he'd be happy to come on next time, and he wants a role on one of your shows.
It's always next time.
We get lots of next times, and then next time comes, and it's always the time after that.
Yeah, it's easy to say next time.
Wait, you would have been delighted by that if
Mike Lowell. Are you kidding?
If Mike Lowell's face had popped up in a screen right here
instead of Greg Cody's.
Oh man!
All we would have talked about is the 2007 Red Sox. It would have been the rest of the discussion.
Dan, how are you going about this? Are you saying Mike Schur and then listing like a brief resume of his?
I'm just asking, do you watch Parks and Rec? Do you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Do you watch The Office? Do you watch The Good Place? Yeah. And
tell
Smoltz
Mike
doesn't watch any of them.
Tell Mike Lowell that I'm making Field of Dreams, and if he wants to, oh no, that's 2 runs. Yeah. I don't know why they had him. Why they didn't walk him is crazy, and why they left Sale in to face him is crazy.
That's weird, right? What would be the logic?
The logic is that he's Yordan Alvarez, and that no matter who the Red Sox bring in right here, he's gonna like they. I think they. That's a fat changeup. Oh God, that was a bad idea. I think they got too excited by the fact that Chris Sale was pitching well and decided to just leave him in.
Nothing like a belt high changeup.
Yep.
What would Mike Lowell's role be on Field of Dreams?
Probably some kind of baseball player.
Yeah, but like not a large speaking role. I would.
If you need an umpire or like a third base
Ooh,
coach,
wow, yeah,
I'm
that's not
telling you,
bad.
I can do a mean sign like right here.
Oh no, I thought we were talking about Mike Lowell.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Yeah.
No.
I just got a text
Groundskeeper?
from one of my Red Sox friends that just says, "We eliminated the Yankees. We eliminated the Yankees. We eliminated the Yankees."
Got that going for you.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I believe this. By the way, I think you want this series. I don't think.
of course I do. I'm
It's
sad
house
that
money
this is
thing.
happening.
I feel like it's
But
a
it
front.
is no.
I feel like
It
this
is house
thing's
money.
a front.
Yeah, to win the pennant. Yeah, sure.
Yes, I want my team to win the pennant, but also it is 100% house money. So this won't devastate me if they lose this series. I promise you.
But Laz Diaz, really bad.
That was bad. Oh, brother.
Someone just sent me a tweet, and it's a video of The Undertaker introducing Pitbull in Saudi Arabia. And I don't understand. I don't understand any of what's going on here.
I understand the Saudi Arabia part. I don't understand.
That's the part, right? Yes, there's a lot of money in Saudi Arabia, and the Undertaker and Pitbull are for sale. I would say is what's happening.
It's
there.
the WWE that's for sale on that one. And yeah, the Undertaker is the face of the WWE. So yeah, obviously he's going to go over there and introduce Pitbull. Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, I don't understand. I don't follow wrestling. The WWE is Pitbull is working with the wrestlers now. What's happening?
That's what I don't understand. The connection between the Undertaker and Pitbull.
No, the connection is the Undertaker in Saudi Arabia because the WWE has things that happen in Saudi Arabia. I don't know why Pitbull's over there though.
Quiche.
That could be it.
How do you think this makes Tua feel? Like
Probably not good.
You
like Josh Rosen.
He's
I mean,
been
if
hurt.
if he's going to LA though, he's probably like,
But
he's better receiver.
But like this is a classic situation, right? Where now like there have been these rumors and out there for a while, but like now you would rather have a guy who is probably going to jail than you. Like that you might be unloaded for a guy who has better than even odds of being in prison in the near future.
Not a real vote of confidence from the people who drafted you.
Yeah. How do you go out and play? How do you just go out and like try to lead your 1-4 team to victory on Sunday? Like that's insane. Like they've burned him so badly now. Now I'm rooting for him. Now I want Tua to have a great and long career in San Diego, playing for the San Diego Chargers.
They are 1-5, by the way.
1-5. I apologize.
At 1-4, they were not this desperate. Now, though, at 1-5, everything changes.
Now time is short. Now we really got to jump. We got to jump on this.
Stephen Ross was not old a week ago, but that you lose to Jacksonville
in London,
and your mortality all of a sudden is something that you're thinking about.
Oh my God. This is such a crazy way to run a franchise.
I mean, the Dolphins are just obviously assuming that there's a chance that he could be only suspended for 6 games, right? Because these are all civil suits right now. I'm not.
There's like 23 of them.
No, I know. I'm trying to obviously the Dolphins are thinking.
I love what Chris is trying to do, which is he is trying to camouflage and disguise that he understands all of this is terribly wrong. Terribly wrong. It's simply fundamentally immoral. It goes against every principle, criminal and otherwise, that we have in this country. However,
Dolphins,
he could have
baby.
a quarterback.
Dolphins, baby.
He could have a quarterback. He could have someone when he gets out of jail. Deshaun
He'll still be a young man if the sentence isn't too long.
They have weights in jail.
My only thought on it is like
get hit.
People don't look at the Browns like they're this terrible franchise because they have Kareem Hunt, and the Chiefs because they have Tyreek Hill. I'm just saying
they do a little bit. They do a little bit. And what Deshaun Watson, yes, and the Deshaun Watson crimes are it's not like it's apples and oranges, but the amount of them is so enormous.
No, it is.
You're
into like, this is a serial
Chris, I think Chris has the right way that football fans are approaching this, which is like this. And you just do this and you're like, but I kind of want a quarterback. Being a fan in the NFL is just like, look the other way. Just keep looking the other way. And if you just keep looking the other way,
eventually people will forget about whatever your team has done. And I'd
Well,
say
to
this
an
as a New England Patriots fan.
And I think the Dolphins are thinking that 6 months after they trade for Deshaun, then all of a sudden they have a great quarterback. And
Do you feel? Just do me a favor, man. Do me a favor, okay? Jump ahead 3 years. Let's say he settles all 23 of these suits, and somehow his lawyer gets there to be a situation where he doesn't admit any wrongdoing, or maybe whatever, some kind of lame statement about having to respect women or something.
Right.
So he does that, and then he gets to the point where he can play for your team. You are offered tickets to the first Dolphins game of the season. You go to the first Dolphins game of the 2025 season. Deshaun Watson runs onto the field. Are you just like, woo, just clapping and cheering, and he throws a touchdown pass, and you're pumping your fist and high-fiving people and stuff?
I'm a Chargers fan.
Right. Yeah.
He'll be rooting for Tua
in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I just the Patriots' crimes are many and well documented, but the only thing that's good about their many crimes is that I didn't have to feel bad on a human level about their crimes. It's just a crappy football level. Now, granted, Aaron Hernandez,
the murderer,
the murderer. But it's not like they knew he was a murderer and then traded for him. He turned out to be a murderer, and then they cut him, and then he went to prison. Like, whatever. That is an awful, terrible situation. But it's not like he was a murderer on the Steelers, and then they were like, "We'll give you a second and a sixth for him," and brought him over to the team. Like this, oh no, God damn it! This is all falling apart. This is all. My attention has been diverted to Tua. And now this whole game is falling apart.
Yeah, it's Dan's fault. Yeah.
It's
I've got to go walk my dog. Do you think you can get a bottom of the sixth rally if I go away?
It's our only chance, frankly.
Well, I'm going to do that for you. And there's the possibility Mike Lowell will show up here in the next 15 minutes. So don't go away. I've told him there's a role on Field of Dreams for him if he comes on. So I'll be back in a little bit.
All right. I have to leave in about 15 minutes, so he better hurry.
Yeah.
But seriously, Chris,
I'm really not. I'm looking at other teams. I'm looking at just the like. I think Browns fans are cheering for Kareem Hunt. I know. I'm not trying to compare like terrible things. I'm just saying I do think that like these things are in the news, and then all of a sudden we forget about them. And I'm not saying that I would, or I'm just like I do see the Dolphins kind of wanting to investigate. Is he going to jail? Is this going to be a 6-game suspension? Because do
you think they know something?
They have to, don't they? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think they do. Not if they just have an old owner who's like, I want to win a Super Bowl and I don't care.
Yeah.
Which is very likely the situation.
Well, and if something was known, more teams than just the Dolphins would probably be in on him, right?
Good point.
Yeah. I see other guys in the league. That's just the only thing I'm doing there. Like, I'm not I hate that I'm being in this spot now where I feel like I'm defending Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you're pro Deshaun Watson. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
The guy in green looks like Pat Sajak behind home plate, right? Well, they just changed the camera shot. Never mind.
I mean, it's a little bit of an unfair question because you're right in that, like, you are morally compromised by just being a football fan. Like if you're an NFL fan and you put on those blinders, then you just have to accept that. By the way, it's not that different if you're a MLB fan or a basketball fan or sports fandom is at some level a morally compromised position for anyone to be in. But this case is so overwhelming.
It's not a one incident that we saw that's like that might have been an isolate, but it's like this is
every one of these cases is different, but this one is so horrifying and so unpleasant that I just can't imagine. Like, I don't really care about the Patriots anymore, but if the Patriots traded for that guy, I would just be like, goodbye. I'm not rooting for the franchise is rotten from head to toe. I can't possibly support it in any way. Like, it's it's too rough.
That's why I went to the Chargers when I started reading the Deshaun Watson reports. I was just like, get this.
I don't know. Oh, that's going to fall in too, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 runs.
Oh, man.
Well, this took a turn, huh? Deshaun Watson talk, and now Astros are up by 6.
Should there be 10-run rules in MLB?
I have to go in like 10 minutes. Do you want to play your little game before I leave?
Wow.
Your thing or not?
My friend's a Braves fan, and he is has just texted me to let me know that I texted him when the Braves were up, and I think they were up whatever it was, 4-0 or 5-0 the other night, and I texted him and was like, "Hey, this is cool for you." And he just told me that our teams have been our two teams have been outscored 20-0 in the 15 innings since I texted him. So this whole thing might be my fault.
Damn.
That was really funny when Dan pitched John Smoltz as a guest earlier today.
He did it just before we came on. He texted, "Should I ask Smoltz to come on?" And Chris texted us privately. He's like, "Well, he's calling the game right now, so I don't think he's going to be able to join us."
That'd be a great get, man. What if he just popped right in?
Just doing both things simultaneously, just going back and forth.
You gonna get Claire to play a song for us, Roy? Is that what we just heard? A little piano?
That is yes, that's
Roy,
Did any of you guys? We were talking about Halloween earlier because Mike's birthday is 2 days before Halloween. Did you guys ever do like early on like couples costumes or like with your
no
family,
couples costumes,
but
no.
like a family thing, like your first Halloween with your kids?
Yes, we did a family thing. I dressed up as a hockey player. I think Claire was a superhero that night.
Well, that's not a family thing. Hockey players and superheroes don't go together.
Well, we didn't have matching. We didn't have matching.
We had an amazing thing going for a while, which was, so I have a son and a daughter, and one of our kids would say, usually our son would say like, I want to do like Star Wars this year. Right. So it would be like, he would be a stormtrooper. My wife would be Princess Leia. I would be Obi-Wan Kenobi, but then my daughter didn't want to go along with it. So she'd be like a butterfly. So it'd be like three of us were on a theme and one of us wasn't.
Was it always your daughter, or it was always rotating?
It was usually that one year is my daughter was like, we were all going to, it was again my son, because it was superheroes. I was Captain America. He was Iron Man. My wife was Wonder Woman. And then my daughter was like a bunny rabbit or whatever. And it was so funny. And the picture that we would take was so funny. And I made a classic parenting mistake, which was I talked to my daughter about how funny I thought it was that she did this. And then she got self-conscious and was like, I don't want to do it anymore then. And then it all kind of fell apart.
I've learned one of the biggest mistakes is talking to your kid.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, talking to your kid, that doesn't work too well.
Don't ever tell your kid that you like a thing that they are doing, because it will disappear immediately.
Yeah. We're trying to do a couple's family costume with my daughter, because it's going to be her first Halloween, and my wife wants to do like a Snow White theme, right? Where she's Snow White, my daughter's Snow White, and then I'd be like the prince or something, and she'd be like the witch, and then our dog's name is Dopey, so he'd be dressed as like one of the 7 dwarfs. He'd be dressed as Dopey, right? But
how do you dress a dog like a dwarf?
Well, there's like costumes.
You're gonna get dog costumes.
Yeah, there's actually make one for the dog. The thing is that like now we're 10 days away, and this was a thing where like, well, Prince is going to be really easy to find, and I've been to 4 Halloween stores in the last 2 days, haven't found it. We finally ordered something online, but I'm not too optimistic about it.
Yeah, online Halloween costume ordering is dicey, and I know that because we have 2 dogs, and we ordered ketchup and mustard costumes for them last year.
Your dogs hate this. You guys know this, right? Your dogs hate this.
All you want is the photo, though. You just you put them on, they hate it. You take the photo and you take them off.
Yeah,
but they never showed up.
So they were like ketchup, mustard. You were like a hamburger. Your son
no, that was just going to be their thing. Although this year, one of our dogs is more like she's a cattle dog, so she's always like out in front of everybody, like on the perimeter checking for coyotes and stuff, and the other one is much more like timid. So this year we're going for cop and burglar. So we're putting the cattle dog in a cop costume, and then the timid one is a burglar, because we think that'll be funny. But again, they just might not show up.
Are you still dressing up, or you're well past this?
I'm at my daughter's 11, and we're at the like very, very, very end of the period of time when costumes are called for. So I have a very old beat up Bumblebee costume that I've worn like now 4 years in a row, and it's now like a joke, because it's barely anything. It's like just this big foam Bumblebee thing, but it used to have like antenna, and I used to have all sorts of accoutrement that would go along with it, and all those things have been lost. And now I just throw the bee costume on, and it's like it's like a running joke with the people we go trick-or-treating with. It's lumped and misshapen and hilariously run down.
Right.
Chris, are we gonna play Sure Thing or Nah?
Yeah, we can.
I suspect Mike Lowell's not going to appear here.
I'm looking forward to the scenario where he shows up just after Mike Schur leaves, and Quixley's like, "What am I doing here?"
And we're playing the baseball of the bull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, no Levitard, no Schur. Like, what did I get tricked into joining here?
Mm-hmm.
For the record, by the way, you watched me. You have watched me in the past watch Red Sox games. Don't I appear calmer and more well-adjusted than I have in the past? Given what's happening in the game.
So we've only had one other Red Sox game with you. We did a Marlins-Yankees game, then we did a Red Sox-Yankees game, and now we're doing a Red Sox-Astros game. The last game that we did, which was Red Sox-Yankees, you called the score in the first or second inning.
Correct.
So you kind of were already, you knew what was going to happen. Here, while saying it's a house money game, you still didn't seem like you were kind of, like you had accepted that this game was going to go poorly. Like you're still hopeful.
Yeah,
So-
I was still hopeful, but I also like, given the fact that this is like a pretty, like losing this game means they go back to Houston having to win both games in Houston to advance, which is very unlikely. And you have to admit that I'm not like losing my mind, at least.
No, but
No, you're good. Yeah, I have to admit, I have to take the L on that. You do seem rather chill.
I'm trying to figure out though, if you weren't doing this, if you'd be throwing things in your home, like you'd just be like this angry, crazy person, or if you're, because you seem like you're just kind of calm and level.
I just get sad. I really, if it's the Yankees, I don't throw things, but I have the urge to. If it's anything else, I just get like bummed out.
Have you ever thought about getting a Yankee themed dartboard that has like a Yankees logo right in the middle of it? Whenever you get mad, you can just like throw something
If
at
the
it.
answer is yes, you say sure thing.
Yeah, sure thing.
Right.
Yankee dartboard.
I haven't ever considered that, but that's not a bad idea.
Although people
put
would
it right
just
next to
see-
my TV.
but people would see Yankee, like they'd walk in and be like, "Oh, he might be a Yankee fan." But
Yeah, good point.
I guess if they're in your office, they pretty much know you, right? No one enters that office unless they know you.
No,
well
and
enough.
also maybe you could design it so that it's like the area
iPad.
around the edge is like
iPad
Red
in the
Sox-y.
Astros dugout. iPad.
Oh yeah.
You're allowed to have iPads.
Wow.
iPad.
Oh, Chris Cody's up.
Yep. There's me.
Come on, Chris, come through for me, buddy.
Chris is up like twice an inning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
struck out on
sorry,
4
Chris.
pitches.
Jeez. Gotta go
They
back
look,
to
they look defeated. The Red Sox just look defeated right now. They just look like sad and like
Oh,
they
wow.
know that they know the ride is over.
I just got a text from my dad saying statement from Greg Cote regarding his appearance this evening on the Levitard show stream.
A
Oh, wow.
letterhead?
Quote.
That's on letterhead, huh?
Here it is. Quote, I cannot believe I forgot to ask everyone to please go listen to the new episode of the Greg Cote Show podcast.
Oh.
End quote. End quote.
Speaking of
Fantastic.
podcasts, Mike, podcast, now
Yeah.
Meadowlark Media, we briefly discussed it. Your latest episode, you guys were in Cooperstown.
That was the first one.
We have a
did
lot
one-
more people listening.
We did one
right?
more.
We have a lot
since
more
then.
people in this than they were at the beginning. So why don't you give a nice little refresher on just
Joe
the podcast?
Posnansky, sports writer, and I do a podcast called The Podcast, which has recently joined Meadowlark Media officially. Our first episode we did live from Cooperstown. There's another one that either is up or is going up very soon, which in which we announce that the podcast is a charitable, officially a charitable enterprise. We're going to donate whatever money we make from ads and stuff to charities. The first charity, that's a base hit. There we go. The first charity we chose is the Negro Leagues Museum in Kansas City, and we have Bob Kendrick on as a guest who runs the Negro Leagues Museum. He's a great guy, and he talks about that museum and what it does and what it represents. And so all of the money that we make for, I think we're going to do it month by month. So for the next month, all of the money that comes in from you out there listening to the podcast will be donated to the Negro Leagues Museum, and we're hoping to have a link on the site soon, on the page soon, that will also direct you to as a way to donate if you want to donate. It's a great museum. Bob's a really fun dude to listen to, and that should be up. If it's not up already, it should be up very soon. So check it out and donate if you have $5 or something to throw to the Negro Leagues Museum. Please do. It's a very good museum that has a lot of excellent baseball history in it.
Very good.
That's my
Very
plug.
good.
And also listen to the Greg Cote show featuring Greg
Yeah.
Cote.
Do
Should
that.
mention that too.
Which is
Like-
not as nice of a podcast as your
People are
podcast.
talking about your hair again.
Oh, it's
About my
great.
hair?
It's
Oh,
just-
yeah.
and with the light
Lovely
coming in,
hair.
it's just you're glowing today.
There's a
man.
window over
Yeah.
there that's kind
Yeah,
of
it looks good, man. Great lighting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
You ever think of doing like the touch of gray? Maybe
Are these all natural?
A little salt and pepper going. Yeah.
No, it's a good look.
Well, I haven't. It hasn't.
Oh
been
wow,
cut
it is
since
long.
the pandemic. So
Oh wow, you
Is
could
that
be
the longest your hair has been?
That could be a fun Halloween costume. You could be like a goth rocker.
it's the
Rocker.
girl from The Ring. That's what it looks like.
That's gonna be quite the bumblebee.
Whenever you have cheese, my daughter wants cheese right now. It's always a dangerous game. It's like, is this moldy? Like, I think we're not going to use this. Yeah, we're not.
I mean, when did you buy the cheese?
Was there mold on it?
Well, there's not. It's like this. Here, let me show you.
Well, some cheese with mold is good, right?
Oh, yeah, blue
No.
cheese. Yeah, blue cheese.
See, I feel like it looks safe, right?
What kind of cheese is it?
See, look, see here.
There's a little white discoloration in there, maybe.
Yeah, we're not eating.
Yeah,
this.
no, don't.
Yeah,
eat
but
that.
is it like cheddar jack or
Cheddar
something like
cheese. Grayson,
Oh,
I'm
it's
trying to
just cheddar?
protect you.
Yeah.
Don't complain.
that? Yeah.
You gotta get.
All right, I have 5 minutes left. If you want to play sure thing or not, we have to do it in the next.
I think
5
I only
minutes.
have like one question, so it works out.
Oh
perfectly.
wow.
Shh, hold on, my daughter's about to have a meltdown.
Oh, yeah, she wants cheese.
I'm gonna mute. You guys, Phil. I'm gonna mute for like 6 seconds.
Phil,
All right.
we're playing sure thing
Phil.
or not. There's only one question.
All right. Well, you might as well ask it.
No, his daughter wants cheese.
No cheese.
I feel
Our
like as
priority.
a connoisseur of like iffy food, giving iffy food to children, I feel like that would have been fine. I don't think anything bad would have happened
Right.
to her if she'd eaten
I
that
like to roll the dice too every once in a while, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Especially with our kids.
cheese. Keeps things fresh.
Exactly.
Well, what if it's mold on bread though?
No pun intended.
Mold on bread is a non-starter for me. If
There
I
you
see
go.
mold on bread, it's like forget it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like a raspberry or a strawberry, you can just like slice off that little part of it, and then the rest of it's fine.
Right.
That's my theory.
Mm-hmm. Good.
All
theory.
right. Sure thing or nah?
Mm.
Liking someone's social media post that is announcing the death of someone in their family.
Get down. Oh, come on.
Mhm.
Okay, so I heard this discussion on the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm firmly on, I think it was Smetana's team, which is that is in that scenario, the like is a way of saying I empathize with you and I'm happy. I am not like, hey, I like this, but rather like I'm sending my love and thoughts and feelings toward you. Like that, it just the definition of what a like is shifts in those scenarios.
How do we feel about retweeting pain?
Well, I think if it's like someone's dog died or something, I feel like, oh, I'm sad for this person and I empathize with this person and I would like I think when the reason you would post something like that is to get well wishes coming in, right? So it's like, yeah, you retweet it and you like it because you're saying like, hey, the more people who respond to this in a positive way, the more it will ease the pain that this person is feeling.
Dogs are people too.
I'm firmly on the side of that. Like it doesn't mean no one is going to think that it means what you liked it, that my aunt died. Like no one's going to ever think that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had somebody today send me a tweet at me like, hey, I lost, like, because I said, as like, I was kind of doing it as a joke. I was like, I'll retweet your pain. And I had somebody like tweet at me saying, hey, I lost my mother. Can you retweet this? So now I've been put in a spot now where people are now reaching out to me. So I retweet, you know.
The bad thing is you also then question, like, did this person's mother really die or did they just want to retweet, which is horrible.
Come on.
You're going to get the GoFundMe people.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past some people on Twitter, but I actually DM'd this person and they seemed to, it actually happened. So I gave them an actual like thought, like, more than just thoughts and prayers, by the way. I gave them a nice, personal message.
You getting GoFundMe people yet? Because they'll end up doing that to you.
I have not seen that, the GoFundMe.
To recap,
yes,
we watched a Marlins Yankees game and the Yankees won. We watched a Red Sox Yankees game and the Yankees won.
Yeah.
We've now watched a Red Sox Astros playoff game and the Red Sox are getting shut out at home.
Things aren't going well for you.
The trend is pretty clear in terms of like what effect this has.
Probably won't be doing this in the World Series.
Well, they're not now, thanks to you, they're not going to make the World Series.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say
matter.
the Red Sox being in it doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The interesting thing would be to watch a game in which I have literally zero rooting interest. So if the only way that's possible is if the Astros play the Braves, I will have zero
That's
rooting
the
interest.
worst case scenario for me for the World Series. The
That would be
worst
bad.
case scenario.
Sure.
I don't like either team.
Is this a good or bad time to tell you that I bet on the Red Sox today?
Oh,
I mean, it's
I'm sorry.
just as good a time as any, I guess. If you had told me beforehand, I would have told you that it was going to be the thing that made them lose.
That's why I didn't tell you. Yeah.
Mike, before you go, people are wondering what color your wall is painted. I don't know how you would know that.
It's
off the top of
like
your head.
olive green? No,
it's a sort of a dark forest green, I would call it. Why?
All right,
Well,
there you go, people.
I mean, can't people see that on the video that they're watching?
Maybe they think that you know the exact color combination or name of it and where you bought it at a Sherman-Williams or whatever. And
If I reached down and pulled out like a huge like fan of those strips.
Like the sample card with the different hues of green or whatever.
Dan, I'm 0 for 3 with you in terms of the team that I want to win these games actually winning.
If you make the World Series, then we will watch another one.
No,
with
we
No,
won't.
he said that
No.
we will not if he makes the World Series.
It's the
Well,
trend
no.
is very bad.
He just said that they won't make the World Series, but if they do, you're willing game 4?
No, he said no at the beginning. He said he'll be at the games in LA. The only way he'll do it is maybe if they're down 3 games to
The
nothing.
games in LA.
Right.
You got the Dodgers rallying to win that series.
If I said if the Dodgers are in the World Series, I would probably be at least at 1 or 2 of the games, regardless of who they're playing in LA, because it's fun to go to World Series games when you're a hometown team. I live 5 miles from the stadium. It's fun to go to World Series games
Take
when
5 hours to get there.
Exactly.
But I will not. The one thing I will not be doing is watching another Red Sox postseason game with you goons.
But this was a house
That's too bad,
money
man.
game.
Yeah, but I still. It's not like I don't want them to win. I actively
game.
want them to win, and I'm 0 for 3 now. And it's like it's the Yankees and the Astros I'm losing to.
Look,
I mean,
Correa's looking at a pad. Correa looking at an iPad. I saw it.
You know
That's
what?
all
If he
fire.
really wants to lean into the black hat thing, he would bring the iPad up to the plate with him. When he
Mhm.
came up to the plate,
We
that
never
would
got-
be a cool move. I would respect him if he did that.
We never got to the bottom of what was on Dusty Baker's wristbands today,
Mm-mm.
and I don't think we will.
It's too bad.
Dan, any news? Any Tua to San Diego news? Do we have anything else on Twitter?
Mike, what you have to do before you get out of here, and I'm assuming you've already done it, is you got to tell people about your podcast because you're funny and your podcast
We just did
is
that.
funny and it's about baseball, but it's not. Joe Posnanski is great and loves baseball, and you guys love each other and you have great chemistry. So you need to tell people where they can find you because you're going to be we're putting you to work in other ways other than just sitting here and watching you as your teams lose.
Well, to you, Dan, I will say Steve Martin was a prop comic.
Wow.
I'm
We just
sure
did
you've
it.
mentioned it, but I
No,
want
we
you to
just-
mention
I
we
it.
literally mentioned it like 10
I
minutes
just
ago.
did that setup that you did. I was like on the way out here, give us one more.
Almost word for word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good about myself, honestly.
All
Mhm.
right, my bad.
Same
I'm
trend.
No,
sorry.
no,
I
thank you.
I was chasing
I'm-
my dog down the beach.
Yes.
I'm happy to talk about it again, but briefly, Podcast, Meadowlark Media, me and Joe Posnanski talking about baseball and a bunch of. He's a Cleveland Browns fan. Mike Ryan should be a guest soon because he's a big Cleveland Browns fan. We talk about fruit and we talk about the Yankees and we talk about whatever occurs to us in the moment to talk about. So listen, hope you enjoy it. Rate, and what are you supposed to say? Rate and review.
Doesn't matter.
I'm going to get you Mike Lowell next time we
subscribe.
do this. Next time
We're not
do
doing
this
it again,
during
man.
the
It's
World
this is
Series.
over. This era is over.
Wow.
I'll tell you this. I'll
What a run.
happily watch I'll watch like a Heat Magic game with you.
Ooh.
What about Florida Panthers? Ice Cats, baby. Let's go.
I know nothing about hockey.
Okay.
But sure. I'll
some tweets?
I'll
are
watch
some
I'll
good on
watch
the
I'll
screen.
happily watch an NBA game. I'll watch a Heat Celtics game with you. That would be fun. Can we watch a Heat Celtics
Yeah.
game?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Sure.
By the way,
So you don't want to watch a Bruins Panthers game, huh?
I don't
Sucks at first base, Schwarber.
Schwarber. Yeah.
yeah,
What?
this is
Most
Most disrespected position in sports. I swear to God.
I don't know that I would have anything to add to a Panthers Bruins.
Well, Mike
game.
sure stopped listening to our show during the Panther playoff run because he was so tired of us talking.
Really?
Panthers talking.
No, it's
Ah,
worse.
that's
It's
bad.
worse than that. I kept listening to it and was just annoyed by it.
Yes.
You listen all the time. Like you listen
do.
to every episode. So you must have like these judgments of all of us that it's nice that you're not kind of letting us know about.
I have rankings. for all
Do
of
you?
you.
I
Yeah,
get
they
the
change
sense you
every
don't
day.
like me much, to be honest.
Yeah.
with you.
Oh,
I don't want
no.
to. I don't want to hear the rankings. Actually,
I'm
think-
dead
don't have-
last, huh?
I
Wow.
don't have
about it.
rankings.
Don't-
Unlike you guys, I don't rate everything on a scale of from 5 to 1.
No,
I mean, but you don't you have rankings every week? Or no, you have a draft every week.
You
on your
have to
podcast.
have a
have a
least favorite. You have to have a least favorite for sure.
I don't have a least favorite. Why would you? I don't think that way. I enjoy the show. I enjoy all of you. I enjoy listening to you. I enjoy you bickering. I enjoy you making fun of each other. I enjoy all of your ridiculous time-wasting diversions. It's a fun part of my day. I bring my kids to
Brian.
school.
So
I
Mike
drop them
Ryan's
off. I
really
drive home. I listen to the show. I listen sometimes when I take a break while I'm working. It's like
I thought of you the other day because the aforementioned Lewis is in studio. Sort of, our show has some ridiculous personality stuff that you can play with. That if you play with it, you can see the bare threads of some office stuff. And the other day, when Whittingham was at the bucket of death and he picked the Jets helmet and then threw it back without knowing it was a bye, and Stugatz was clearly nearby and didn't say anything, and then you heard Stugatz roaring with laughter and Lewis panned the camera to Stugatz nearby roaring with laughter. It made me feel like the ridiculous camera work that you guys did on The Office.
It was officey. The only difference was that he should have. Oh, that's going to fall in, isn't it? Oh my God. This is just the wheels are coming off, guys. The only difference is that he should have.
That sounded like stress. That sounded like stress. I heard a breath there.
It's not stress. It's sadness.
Yeah, I heard a
He
sigh.
should have.
I heard a
He should have
deep
punched
sigh.
into Whittingham's face. Right. That the key to the office camera work is that when something happens, you pan back and then you dive into the. So give Lewis that tip that when something like that happens, you've got to go close on the person to see the
You hear that,
sadness.
Lewis?
and
Step
the
your
pain.
shit
that
up.
quick
Step your
zoom in,
shit up,
yeah.
Lewis.
Today, Tua said in a press conference, we have a family-oriented locker room, and that's going to keep us going through the year. You're not going to be here next week, buddy.
And you're maybe bringing in Deshaun Watson to that family-oriented
Be in
locker
LA.
room.
Mhm.
Well, boys, this has been a typical disaster, I would say.
Yep.
It's typically disastrous for my favorite baseball
Kind of
team.
used to it now.
7-0, huh?
Thank you for tolerating our nonsense, Mike.
Anytime. I will
Well,
never see you again in this context.
Anytime except the rest of this baseball season.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or next baseball season. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye, Mike.
I have the under on him actually having shit to do now. I
Yeah,
think
Chris
I
reached
think-
out to me very early on, and he said, "I don't think Mike Schur really has."
I think
anything
he
to
was
do."
planning on this being a close game, and he wanted to be free for like the final 3 innings, so he could really turn into his like natural self and
And
just.
now he's down 7, and he's like,
And
"Why
now
am I
he's
going to
just
waste
like-
the rest of my?"
He's
time
like, I
doing
can't like
this?"
backtrack. You notice how he was like, I could stay a little longer. It's like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Let's see what's going on.
How many guests turned us down?
Oh
to-
my
All
God.
of them. All
It's
of them.
unbelievable.
Where's Boog?
Well, Boog told me
Yeah.
that something came up that he had to deal with, so he couldn't
Boog.
do it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had someone booked, but then the person had to
I mean, it happens.
back
Things
out.
pop up.
Yeah,
Things
you know.
pop up.
Yeah, right.
Also, very little on our end. I mean, we gave very little heads up on some of this stuff. It was just, quick, like, hey, tonight you want to join a Zoom, which is weird because it's like, hey, do you want to talk to us while we watch a baseball game that people will be watching and you're watching us watch a game?
Mhm.
Right.
I smell fire. That can't be good.
We should get out on that note. I should.
Yes.
Are we done?
I mean, unless you guys want to keep going, but the game's not interesting anymore,
is-
and we got a long day tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm kind of parenting alone right now too, so this
Ooh.
is getting a little dangerous.
Right. Mhm.
Alone.
I'll see you guys later.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.